Chapter 1965. Junior Brother Jiang. These fruits and wine are the treasures of the demonic immortal island. Eating them will bring you a lot of benefits. Yu Huafan said with a smile. Jiang Chen nodded. This demonic immortal island was truly extravagant. These rare treasures were indeed very beneficial to cultivators. If a heaven immortal ate any one of them, he was afraid that his cultivation base would advance by a level, but it wouldn't be as useful to experts like them. That's right. After all, their needs were different. At their level, their needs were greater. It was extremely difficult to advance further, not to mention a few exotic fruits. Hoo-hoo! All of a sudden, a gust of wind blew across the sky. A black shadow appeared in the sky. The shadow enlarged rapidly and turned into a 40-year-old middle-aged man. He was tall and sturdy, wearing a gray feather robe. The chi that he exuded was frightening. The man looked extraordinary. His eyebrows were filled with a domineering aura. His nose was a little sharp and his pair of sharp eyes seemed to be able to see through the void. Look, that's Tian Peng, Evil Emperor. Such a powerful chi. A powerful 6th grade demon sovereign, plus the divine grade bloodline of Tian Peng. His strength isn't any weaker than any of the sovereign lords of the 9 immortal courts. That's right. It is said that this Tian Peng Evil Emperor is the most promising one to advance to the 7th grade demon sovereign realm in the near future. He's already the overlord of the ocean. No wonder the 9 immortal courts have come to congratulate him. Countless people became excited when they saw the appearance of Tian Peng Evil Emperor. It was the first time for many of them to come to the demonic immortal island. To them, it was a great honor to see the legendary Tian Peng Evil Emperor with their own eyes. They would be able to boast about it when they go out in the future. Tian Peng Evil Emperor withdrew his chi. The rippling waves in the sky vanished instantly. Everything returned to normal. Tian Peng Evil Emperor's body swayed and vanished. In the next moment, he reappeared on the high platform. Such incredible speed. Jiang Chen was shocked. Of course. Tian Peng is a peerless divine bird. It's famous for its speed. The speed of Tian Peng almost represents the limit of the heavens and earth. Yu Huafan said. Tian Peng Evil Emperor's movement just now contained a trace of the Great Void technique. Jiang Chen frowned. He was very surprised by this, and he would never be mistaken. Putting aside the fact that he was proficient in the Great Soul Derivation technique and Great Divination art, his senses were incomparably sharp. Based on his proficiency in the Great Void technique, he was almost certain that there was a trace of the Great Void technique in the movement technique displayed by Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign. Of course, it only had a hint of the Great Void technique. Compared to the real Great Void technique, the difference was not small. Greetings, Lord Demon Sovereign. May Lord Demon Sovereign be as blessed as the East Sea and live as long as the South Mountain. The moment the Tian Peng Evil Emperor appeared, all the demonic beasts on the demonic immortal island knelt down from all directions. Some demon sovereign-level demonic beasts also bowed to the Tian Peng Evil Emperor. All the black-armored warriors on the square also knelt down. The scene was too spectacular. It surprised everyone that the Tian Peng Evil Emperor's status here had reached such a transcendent level. He was equivalent to an emperor in the secular world. In this demonic immortal island, the Tian Peng Evil Emperor was the absolute emperor. He represented the faith of countless demonic beasts. So when he appeared, everyone knelt down devoutly. Such cohesiveness and charisma has completely surpassed the sovereign lord of the immortal court. Jiang Chen sighed. One should know that even the sovereign lord of the immortal court couldn't make everyone kneel down. This is normal. Demonic beasts have differences in bloodline and rank. The hierarchy is very strict and incomparable to humans. The Tian Peng Evil Emperor is naturally respected by millions of people. De Huang Dog said. Rise, everyone. The Tian Peng Evil Emperor stretched his arms horizontally, completely assuming the posture of a peerless sovereign lord. Voila! Countless demonic beasts rose to their feet in unison. All right, thank you all for coming to this emperor's birthday. Let's have a toast first. The Tian Peng Evil Emperor seemed to be in a very good mood. A young girl handed a cup of bejeweled wine to him. The Tian Peng Evil Emperor gulped it down in one gulp, looking incomparably forthright and carefree. The birthday of the Tian Peng Evil Emperor is a joyous day for the demonic immortal island. I, Tangenia, represent the Mi Luo immortal domain to congratulate you and offer my congratulatory gift. Tangenia took out the congratulatory gift after drinking the wine in her hand. Everyone had a tacit understanding that since they were here to congratulate Tianpeng Evil Emperor, they would surely present a congratulatory gift. For a moment, countless eyes fell on Tangenia. They wanted to see what kind of treasure the Mi Luo Immortal Court would present. One should know that there weren't many treasures in this world that could attract the attention of the Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Of course, since it was a congratulatory gift prepared by the Mi Luo Immortal Court, even if the Tianpeng Evil Emperor wouldn't be interested in it, it wouldn't be too bad. After all, it represented the face of the Mi Luo Immortal Court. With a flip of Tangenia's palm, a golden box appeared in her hand. The box was transparent, and the treasure inside could be clearly seen. Inside the box, there was a fist-sized golden red demon spirit that was constantly swaying back and forth. This is the demon spirit of the powerful snow domain divine eagle. It was left behind by a limitless demon sovereign. Our sovereign lord obtained it by accident. It's a gift to Lord Demon Sovereign. Tangenia said loudly. Her face was filled with pride. What? A 5th grade demon sovereign demon spirit? What a generous gift. The key is not the 5th grade demon sovereign demon spirit, but the demon spirit itself. If it's an ordinary 5th grade demon sovereign demon spirit, the Tianpeng Evil Emperor wouldn't care at all. After all, he is already a powerful 6th grade demon sovereign. However, the owner of this demon spirit is the powerful snow domain divine eagle. The significance of this demon spirit is completely different. For the Tianpeng Evil Emperor, the value of this demon spirit has increased. That's right. The snow domain divine eagle is a powerful demon beast that is famous for its speed. It should belong to the same type of demon beast as the Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Everyone knows that the Tianpeng Evil Emperor has been pursuing extreme speed all his life. If he can get the demon spirit of the snow domain divine eagle and study the speed of the snow domain divine eagle, it will be of great help to the Tianpeng Evil Emperor. For a moment, the whole place was filled with discussions. Obviously, the gift presented by Tangenia had caused a sensation and attracted the attention of the Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Haha, good. Thank your sovereign lord on my behalf. I will accept this gift. Chapter 1966. Tangenia's face was filled with pride. Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign even smiled at the treasures he gave out, which made him feel very proud. His face was filled with radiance. Heavenly Peng. I'm Lan Xian. I'm here on the order of the Ethereal Sovereign Lord to congratulate the Demon Emperor on his birthday. I'm here to present a bottle of Heaven Earth Mystery Yellow Water. Lan Xian stood up and a jade bottle appeared in his hand. The bottle was crystal clear and only the size of a palm. But what was contained in it was an extremely precious treasure. Heaven Earth Mystery Yellow Water was the root water of the heaven and earth. A drop of it weighed thousands of kilograms. This treasure was not used for consumption, but to forge immortal weapons, especially powerful Emperor weapons. If the Heaven Earth Mystery Yellow Water was added to the Emperor weapon, it wouldn't be a problem for the Emperor weapon to be refined to a higher level. Furthermore, the Heaven Earth Mysterious Yellow Water could also be used as a medicine to refine pills. For a truly high-grade pill, if a little essence of the Heaven Earth Mysterious Yellow Water was added during the refining process, the grade of the pill would be greatly improved. Lan Xian had taken out such a precious treasure at once. It showed how much importance the Ethereal Sovereign Lord attached to Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Of course, the reasonable degree of preciousness was not only to express the importance of the Tianpeng Evil Emperor, but also to show the face of the Ethereal Sovereign Lord. After all, he was the Sovereign Lord of a generation and was very wealthy. If the thing he took out was too inferior, not only would it make the Tianpeng Evil Emperor unhappy, the Sovereign Lord himself wouldn't be able to afford to lose face. All right. The Ethereal Sovereign Lord is very considerate. It would be impolite for me to refuse such a precious gift. Nephew Lan Xian, please take a seat. Tianpeng Evil Emperor beamed with joy and kept the Heaven Earth Mystery Yellow Water. Today was his birthday and it was a very happy occasion. Naturally, the Tianpeng Evil Emperor was extremely happy. There was no reason for him to be unhappy. Anyone would be overjoyed to receive so many precious treasures. Although the Heaven Earth Mystery Yellow Water wasn't very useful to him, it could be used on the demonic Immortal Island. There were thousands of disciples on the demonic Immortal Island. The more treasures there were, the more experts they could nurture. The more experts there were, the more influence the demonic Immortal Island would have in the immortal world. Next, all the immortal courts began to rush to take out their gifts. Each of them was the representative of their younger generation. As expected, the treasures taken out by Tanginia and Lan Xian were incomparably precious. The treasures taken out by the other immortal courts weren't inferior to them either. Tanginia and Lan Xian's treasures. The treasures taken out. Tanginia and Lan Xian's treasures. Of the treasures, one had to know that if any of these treasures were to be placed in the world below, they would be treasures that countless major powers would fight over. Normally, it would be extremely difficult to even see a single one of these treasures. They were all legendary existences. And now, all of them had actually appeared and were being presented as congratulatory gifts. This showed how important Tianpang Evil Emperor's reputation was. In the entire immortal world, it was afraid that only Tianpang Evil Emperor had such a great reputation. Even the birthday of the sovereign lords of the 9 immortal courts wouldn't have such a scene. Tianpang Evil Emperor's position was rather special. All the immortal courts wanted to rope him in. Naturally, he was very precious. That's amazing. They have taken out so many incredible treasures. Compared to them, the gifts we have prepared are just too inferior. I'm going to be embarrassed to take them out later. Don't say that. Don't say that. After all, we are just a small sect that can't be compared to the 9 great immortal courts. Even if we have that kind of treasure, we won't be willing to take it out as a congratulatory gift. In any case, it's fine as long as we show our sincerity. Heavenly Pang Demon Sovereign knows that it's impossible for us to take out such a good treasure. That's right. If we really want to be compared to the 9 immortal courts, we shouldn't have come here. Fengqi Immortal Court hasn't taken out their gifts yet. I wonder what they have prepared. There's no need to think about it. It must be something precious. The gifts from the various immortal courts had caused a great impact. The people of the various islands and some famous rogue cultivators couldn't help but sigh. It was impossible for them not to feel depressed when they thought that the gifts they had carefully prepared were a joke compared to the gifts from the other immortal courts. Yu Huafan, where's the gift you prepared? What's wrong? Is it because you're embarrassed to take it out after seeing our gifts? Lan Xian said in a sarcastic tone. He hated Yu Huafan and Jiang Chen to the core. Originally, he had brought 7 people with him. But now, he was the only one left. It was imaginable how depressed he was. Unfortunately, Lan Xian's current position happened to be opposite to Jiang Chen. He could see them by raising his head. Every time he saw Jiang Chen and Yu Huafan, he couldn't control his emotions. His hatred was expressed through gritted teeth. That's right. Can't the dignified Fengqi Immortal Court prepare a decent gift? In my opinion, if you really can't take it out, don't make a fool of yourself. Tanginia and another genius said sarcastically. They didn't conceal their hostility at all. Junior brother Jiang, this gift is yours. Yu Huafan secretly passed the vermilion bird's divine blood to Jiang Chen with a mocking smile on his face. He knew very well that compared to the vermilion bird's divine blood, their gifts were obviously weaker. At least to Heavenly Pang Demon Sovereign, the vermilion bird's divine blood was the most attractive. All right. Jiang Chen nodded. He knew what Yu Huafan was thinking. He wanted to give him a chance to show his face in front of Tianpang Evil Emperor. After all, Jiang Chen had too many enemies now. The experts of the 3 immortal courts all wanted to kill Jiang Chen. If Jiang Chen could attract the attention of Tianpang Evil Emperor, or even gain the recognition of Tianpang Evil Emperor, it would certainly be beneficial to Jiang Chen's situation. Jiang Chen stood up from his seat, cupped his fists towards Tianpang Evil Emperor, and took out the crystal ball. Jiang Chen, disciple of Dragon Hall of Fengqi Immortal Court, greets Demon Sovereign. Our Fengqi Immortal Court specially presents a drop of vermilion bird divine blood as a congratulatory gift. Jiang Chen said aloud. The words vermilion bird divine blood were incomparably loud. Almost everyone could hear it clearly. Upon hearing the words vermilion bird divine blood, the crowd became restless. The mocking smile on Lan Xian and Tanginia's faces froze and then vanished. They were all knowledgeable people. They naturally knew what the vermilion bird divine blood meant. My God! It's the legendary vermilion bird divine blood. The vermilion bird is a divine bird, one of the 5 elemental divine beasts. Its bloodline is much nobler than Heavenly Pang. It's a true aristocrat among birds, on par with the ancient true dragon. How could Fengqi Immortal Court offer a drop of vermilion bird divine blood? That's right. Although the gifts from the other immortal courts are also incomparably precious, the vermilion bird divine blood is the most valuable to Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign. Everyone knows that the vermilion bird divine blood contains the true vermilion bird bloodline. If the bloodline of the vermilion bird can be merged with the Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign's bloodline, it will bring him endless benefits. Awesome! Did you see the expression of Tian Peng Evil Emperor? Obviously, the vermilion bird divine blood has attracted his attention. This is much more attractive than the other gifts. Chapter 1967. The story of Xiao Wangqing on the high platform. Tian Peng Evil Emperor was looking at the divine blood of vermilion bird in Jiang Chen's hand. Given his eyesight, he could naturally tell that it was the real divine blood of vermilion bird. He could clearly sense the divine bloodline contained in it. Just as everyone had expected, the attraction of the divine blood of vermilion bird to Tian Peng Evil Emperor surpassed all the treasures gifted by the other immortal courts. All right, I'll accept this divine blood of vermilion bird. Nephew Jiang Chen, please thank Star Sovereign on my behalf when you return. Tian Peng Evil Emperor received the divine blood of vermilion bird and spoke with incomparable delight. Due to the divine blood of vermilion bird, Tian Peng Evil Emperor remembered the name Jiang Chen and looked at Jiang Chen with kindness. This was what Yu Huafan hoped to see the most. He secretly gave Jiang Chen a wink. Just now, Jiang Chen's performance was neither servile nor overbearing, fully displaying the demeanor of a genius of the immortal courts. His bearing wasn't inferior to that of Lan Xian and Tan Jinya at all. Such a bearing of an immortal venerable was even more eye-catching than a great sovereign. That bastard! How could he be in the limelight? Lan Xian gritted his teeth and said resentfully. The way the others looked at Jiang Chen was also filled with hostility. No matter what, Jiang Chen had stolen their limelight during the gift-giving segment. This naturally made those geniuses who were naturally competitive feel very bad. Star Sovereign is really generous. He's even willing to take out a treasure like the divine blood of vermilion bird. Tan Jinya couldn't help but comment. Ordinary people would immediately regard a divine item like the divine blood of vermilion bird as a peerless treasure. How could they possibly give it away? In the following period of time, the gift-giving truly began. Almost all the people who came to congratulate him brought their most valuable treasures. At the very least, with their strength, it was already the best that they could bring out such treasures. Of course, these treasures couldn't be compared to the 9 great immortal courts. Half an hour later, the gift-giving session came to an end. It had to be said that the gifts they received were enough to raise the strength of the demonic immortal island to a higher level. Jiang Chen sighed in his heart. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't jealous. If all the treasures were given to him, Jiang Chen was confident that he could break through to the great sovereign realm in 2 months. Unfortunately, he could only be jealous now. Everyone, thank you for coming to this emperor's birthday. It would be impolite for this emperor to refuse your congratulatory gifts. Everyone, drink to your heart's content today. Tian Peng Evil Emperor said loudly. He then sat on a wide rattan chair, with beautiful women serving him on both sides. More than a dozen young women appeared in the sky. Each and every one of them had a graceful figure. Their silhouettes were faintly discernible. No man would be able to resist their temptation. Some of these women were playing the zither, some were playing the flute, and some were dancing. They were dancing gracefully in the sky above the demonic immortal square. The soft music and the graceful figures were as light as butterflies. This was a program specially prepared for Tian Peng Evil Emperor's birthday. The moment these stunning women appeared, they attracted countless gazes. Just as everyone was immersed in this joyful and comfortable state, a black armored guard ran over from the outside of the demonic immortal island. What's the matter? The one who spoke was Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign. He looked at the black armored guard with a hint of anger. This black armored guard couldn't afford to disturb Tian Peng Evil Emperor's mood. Demon Sovereign, that Xiao Wangqing is here again. He said that he's here to congratulate you. The black armored guard said. Upon hearing Xiao Wangqing's name, Jiang Chen, who had already brought the wine to his mouth, immediately stopped. Didn't you say that he's not allowed to enter the demonic immortal island in the future? Let him leave. Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign said impatiently. My lord, that Xiao Wangqing has already advanced to the great sovereign realm. He said that he must come today. The black armored guard continued. If Xiao Wangqing was still the same Xiao Wangqing as before, he wouldn't care at all. But now that Xiao Wangqing had become a great sovereign, he didn't have the right to drive him away. He had to ask the higher-ups for permission. One should know that a great sovereign, even if he was just a first-grade great sovereign, would be respected no matter where he went in the immortal world. No one would dare to look down on a great sovereign. Not even a great sovereign. Tell him to get lost. Tell him to stay away from the demonic immortal island from now on. If he comes again, I won't be polite anymore. Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign said impatiently. Jiang Chen frowned slightly. From their conversation, it wasn't hard for him to tell that this wasn't Xiao Wangqing's first time coming to the demonic immortal island. Even Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign and a guard knew about him. It was imaginable that there must be a deep relationship between Xiao Wangqing and the demonic immortal island. Moreover, Jiang Chen recalled the time when he fought Li Wangye on the sea. Li Wangye had concluded that Jiang Chen was following Xiao Wangqing, as though he was certain that Xiao Wangqing would come. There must be some secret behind this. But judging from Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign's attitude towards Xiao Wangqing, it didn't seem to be very good. Yes, my lord. The black-armored guard saluted and retreated. Jiang Chen quietly stood up from his seat. Junior brother Jiang, what's the matter? Yu Huafan noticed the change in Jiang Chen's expression and asked. I'll be right back. After saying that, Jiang Chen left the VIP seating and followed the black-armored guard towards the exit of the demonic immortal island. Outside the gate of the demonic immortal island, Xiao Wangqing, clad in a green robe, was pacing back and forth with a solemn expression. Xiao Wangqing, you'd better leave. The demon sovereign doesn't want to see you. The black-armored guard waved his hand at Xiao Wangqing. His attitude towards Xiao Wangqing wasn't bad and even showed some pity and sympathy. Almost everyone on the demonic immortal island knew about Xiao Wangqing's story. Therefore, even though Xiao Wangqing had come many times and was chased away every time, anyone who knew about his story would treat him well. Senior. Jiang Chen walked out of the demonic immortal island and arrived in front of Xiao Wangqing at an extremely fast speed. Jiang Chen, why are you here? Xiao Wangqing's face revealed a hint of surprise when he saw Jiang Chen. Young master, since you know each other, you'd better persuade him to give up, said the black-armored guard. The black-armored guard said. He knew that Jiang Chen was a genius of Fengqi immortal domain, so he spoke to Jiang Chen politely. Chapter 1968. Good boy. Your cultivation base has improved tremendously. It hasn't been a long time since we last met, but you have already reached the intermediate immortal venerable realm. But given your heaven-defying strength, I'm afraid that even I won't be a match for you. Xiao Wangqing patted Jiang Chen's shoulder and said. He seemed a little surprised to see Jiang Chen and Jiang Chen's rapid progress, but at the same time, he was gratified to see Jiang Chen. The gloomy look on his face had temporarily vanished. I joined the Fengqi Immortal Court because of some matters. This time, I was sent here to celebrate the birthday of Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Senior, I heard that you have been to the demonic immortal island many times. What's the matter? Asked Jiang Chen. At this point, he had no choice but to ask these questions. Jiang Chen, you have also seen the attitude of the demonic immortal island towards me. Even if I tell you, you won't be able to help me. Xiao Wangqing smiled bitterly. Senior, there are some things that have to be resolved. Jiang Chen said. He could feel the pain in Xiao Wangqing's heart from his bitter smile. AI. Xiao Wangqing let out a heavy sigh. He turned and walked a few dozen meters away, looking at the distant sea with a gloomy face. He still didn't want to tell the story in his heart. Jiang Chen knew that Xiao Wangqing didn't want him to bear the burden for him. If he knew the truth, he would certainly help him at all costs. However, the other party was the mighty demonic immortal island, an existence that Jiang Chen couldn't afford to offend. He didn't want to make another powerful enemy for Jiang Chen, so he would rather keep everything in his heart than speak it out. Young master, this man is really pitiful. It has been so many years, but he still hasn't forgotten about it. The black-armored guard came to Jiang Chen's side and said, Brother, what's going on? Please give me some pointers, brother. Jiang Chen said. With a flip of his palm, he took out a spatial ring containing 10,000 venerable grade immortal metastones and handed it to the black-armored guard. From the guard's tone, it wasn't hard for him to guess that this black-armored guard must have known about Xiao Wangqing and the demonic immortal island. Since Xiao Wangqing wasn't willing to tell him, Jiang Chen could only find out from the mouth of the person. Xiao Wangqing had helped him more than once and saved him from disaster. It could be said that Xiao Wangqing was the person he respected the most in his life. Now that Xiao Wangqing was in trouble, there was no reason for him, Jiang Chen, to stand idly by. When the black armored guard sensed the venerable great immortal metastones in the interspatial ring, his eyes shone with a strange light. Thank you, young master. This was a generous gift. The black armored guard couldn't find any reason to refuse it. He immediately kept the interspatial ring, and his attitude towards Jiang Chen became incomparably warm. Young master, Xiao Wangqing fell in love with our saintess back then. But there's a rule in the demonic immortal island that the women of the island, especially the saintess, are not allowed to marry men from the outside world. This rule can't be violated. Later on, the saintess eloped with Xiao Wangqing and left the demonic immortal island. But how could they escape from the pursuit of the demonic immortal island because their cultivation base was too weak? Moreover, the incident had infuriated the Tianpeng evil emperor. After capturing the saintess and Xiao Wangqing, Demon Emperor originally wanted to kill Xiao Wangqing, but the saintess threatened to kill herself to save his life. The black armored guard said. This incident had caused a great sensation in the demonic immortal island back then. Basically, everyone knew about it. Jiang Chen sighed. Looking at the back of Xiao Wangqing in the distance, his heart suddenly became incomparably heavy. What happened later? Asked Jiang Chen. The Tianpeng evil emperor was extremely furious. He imprisoned the saintess on the myriad wind platform for 300 years and drove Xiao Wangqing out of the demonic immortal island for 300 years. Now, 300 years have passed. Xiao Wangqing has been here several times, which shows that he hasn't given up yet. Unfortunately, no one dares to disobey the demon emperor's order. If it wasn't for the saintess threatening to kill herself to save his life, he would have died hundreds of times for breaking into the demonic immortal island. The black armored guard said. Jiang Chen's face was solemn. He finally knew about Xiao Wangqing's past. Now, it seemed that the reason why Xiao Wangqing chose to walk the Tao of forgetfulness should be related to this incident. Unfortunately, he couldn't sever his hair, which caused his cultivation base to stagnate. He still remembered the words that Xiao Wangqing told him at that time. Later on, Xiao Wangqing returned to normal under his unintentional guidance. Therefore, the infatuation from 300 years ago resurfaced. He couldn't forget the saintess after all. How infatuated must a person be to persist for 300 years? The Tianpeng evil emperor imprisoned the saintess for 300 years. She should have been released by now, right? Asked Jiang Chen curiously. It's not that easy. The saintess is even more infatuated than Xiao Wangqing. Even after being imprisoned on the myriad wind platform for 300 years, she still hasn't forgotten him. She has been infatuated with him from the beginning to the end. In the eyes of the demon emperor, the saintess' performance has disappointed him greatly. The black armored guard shook his head and sighed. Everyone who knew about the relationship between the saintess and Xiao Wangqing would sigh. But it's already good enough that the Tianpeng evil emperor didn't execute Senior Xiao and the saintess. Jiang Chen also sighed. Today, when he saw the Tianpeng evil emperor, he understood that Tianpeng evil emperor was also a decisive person. As a person who dominated overseas, his prestige was the most important thing to him. Despite the saintess' disobedience, he still didn't execute her and even spared her when she threatened to kill herself. This showed that the saintess of the demonic immortal island still had a certain position in the heart of the demon emperor. That's for sure. The saintess is the daughter of the Tianpeng evil emperor. She's the apple of the demon emperor's eye. He dotes on her very much. If she didn't violate the rules of the demonic immortal island, how could he bear to imprison her for 300 years? Said the black armored god. I see. Jiang Chen suddenly understood. Previously, he was wondering why a figure like the Tianpeng evil emperor would compromise with the saintess and Xiao Wangqing. It turned out that there was such a relationship between them. Brother, why does the demonic immortal island have such a rule? You should know that it's normal for humans to marry demonic beasts in this world. Chapter 1969. It said that the first saintess of the demonic immortal island fell in love with an outsider. Later on, the man disappeared for some reason, leaving the saintess to grieve for hundreds of years. In the end, the saintess was trapped by love and died of depression. Since then, there has been a rule in the demonic immortal island that no woman is allowed to fall in love with an outsider, especially the saintess. The black armored guard said, "Of course, this is just a legend. After all, It's been too long. I don't know the specific details. After listening to the black armored guard's explanation, Jiang Chen finally understood why there was such a rule in the demonic immortal island. The reason could be traced back to such a long time ago. Jiang Chen couldn't help sighing when he thought of the experience of the first saintess. It was unimaginable for Jiang Chen to think that a person could be so infatuated that she died of depression. So, young master, you should persuade him to give up. He has already advanced to the great sovereign realm. Given his current strength, he will be able to thrive no matter where he goes. It's not a bad thing to forget our saintess. The black-armored god said. Thank you, brother. Jiang Chen clasped his fists at the black-armored guard. In any case, what the black-armored guard said was for the good of Xiao Wangqing. Moreover, from the beginning until now, the black-armored guard hadn't shown any bad attitude towards Xiao Wangqing. He had been persuading Xiao Wangqing instead of driving him away. Jiang Chen walked to Xiao Wangqing's side and didn't know what to say for a moment. You know it all? Xiao Wangqing's tone was calm. He stared at the sea ahead and didn't look at Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen grunted in acknowledgement. Back then, after the saintess and I were forcefully separated, I was disheartened and swore to forget my feelings. That's why I walked on the path of forgetfulness. Unfortunately, this path didn't work, so I lived in a daze for 300 years. Do you still remember what you told me in the Genius Prefecture? You told me that I should let nature take its course. Since I can't forget, why force myself to forget? That's why my cultivation has been able to progress. Now, I'm not here to make up with the saintess, but I want to see her again. That's right. Xiao Wangqing said in an incomparably firm tone. That was a kind of unstoppable determination, a kind of determination to do something with indomitable will. Senior, let's go. I'll bring you to see the Tianpeng evil emperor. Jiang Chen said. His tone became extremely firm. Sometimes there were some things that had to be done. Jiang Chen knew very well that 300 years had passed. Even if he had to wait for another 300 years, this kind of thing still had to be resolved. Xiao Wangqing wouldn't forget it. In that case it had to be resolved. Jiang Chen had always wanted to do something for Xiao Wangqing. Now it was time. Jiang Chen didn't know what the outcome would be, but he would only know if he did it. Jiang Chen wasn't a person who would be stopped by difficulties. Once he decided to do something, he would give it a try even if it was a mountain of daggers and a sea of fire. Sometimes, you would never know if you could do it or not if you didn't try. After listening to Xiao Wangqing's story, Jiang Chen was also moved. More than 300 years had passed. He didn't want Xiao Wangqing to suffer for another 300 years, or even 500 years, or even longer. Jiang Chen, I understand your intention, but I'm afraid you can't do anything about my matter. Xiao Wangqing patted Jiang Chen's shoulder, his words full of gratitude. In any case, he was already very satisfied with Jiang Chen's sincerity. By the way, this Sun Divine Feather can be returned to you. I accepted it to protect you. Now that you have the ability to protect yourself and have joined the Fengqi Immortal Court, this Sun Divine Feather belongs to you. Xiao Wangqing took out the Sun Divine Feather and handed it to Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen received the Sun Divine Feather. This thing was related to the Golden Clan, so he had to keep it. Moreover, he had the Fire of Sun on him. With the support of the Fire of Sun, the Sun Divine Feather would be able to exert an extremely powerful energy. By taking back the Sun Divine Feather, Jiang Chen would have one more trump card. Let's go. I'll bring you in. We need an explanation today, Jiang Chen said. Without giving Xiao Wangqing a chance to refuse, he pulled Xiao Wangqing's arm and strode towards the demonic immortal island. Seeing the embarrassed expression on the black armored guard's face, Jiang Chen said, Brother, I'll bear all the consequences. If Tianpeng evil emperor blames me, just say that I forced my way in. My name is Jiang Chen, a disciple of the Dragon Hall of the Fengqi Immortal Court. After that, Jiang Chen and Xiao Wangqing walked into the gate of the demonic immortal island. This time, the black armored guards didn't stop them. Firstly, they had to give face to the geniuses of the immortal court. Secondly, they respected Xiao Wangqing. Jiang Chen's words gave them a way out of this embarrassing situation. The demonic immortal square was still filled with songs and dances. Everyone had a bright smile on their faces. At this moment, Jiang Chen brought Xiao Wangqing to the square and stood in front of the Fengqi Immortal Court. Xiao Wangqing, who let you in? Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign's face turned hostile the moment he saw Xiao Wangqing. Chen knew that if it wasn't for the promise he made to the Saintess, Xiao Wangqing would have become a dead man at any time. Demon Sovereign, I'm the one who brought Xiao Wangqing in. Jiang Chen clasped his fists at Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign and spoke loudly. The smiling Tianpeng Evil Emperor's face turned gloomy the moment he saw Xiao Wangqing. He waved his hand towards the sky. The dancers stopped, saluted the Tianpeng Evil Emperor and retreated. What's this Jiang Chen doing? Can't he see that Xiao Wangqing is very unpopular in the demonic immortal island? How dare he bring Xiao Wangqing here on his own initiative? Isn't he courting death? I heard that Xiao Wangqing has a lot of connections with the demonic immortal island. Because of Xiao Wangqing, Tianpeng Evil Emperor's daughter is still imprisoned. Today is Tianpeng Evil Emperor's birthday. Isn't this ruining the atmosphere? Humph. There's something wrong with this Jiang Chen's brain. It's not good for him to stand out and meddle in other people's business at this time. He's going to make Tianpeng Evil Emperor unhappy. Jiang Chen and Xiao Wangqing have a very good relationship. Back then, when Jiang Chen made a big mistake and offended the three immortal courts, it was Jiang Chen who risked his life to protect Jiang Chen. Now that Xiao Wangqing is in trouble, it's reasonable for Jiang Chen to stand out. Unfortunately, he thinks too highly of himself. He's not qualified to meddle in Xiao Wangqing's affairs. Chapter 1970. Jiang Chen, don't think that you can do anything after Tianpeng praised you for giving away the divine blood of the vermilion bird. This is the demonic immortal island. You'd better know your place. Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign spoke rudely. If it wasn't for Jiang Chen's gift, he would have already slapped Jiang Chen. Moreover, the divine blood of the vermilion bird was prepared by Star Sovereign. Jiang Chen was at most an errand boy. If he thought that he could be arrogant just because of this, then he was too weak. This matter has nothing to do with Jiang Chen. I insisted on coming in. Demon Sovereign, I want to see the Saintess, even if it's just for a moment. Xiao Wangqing bowed to Tianpeng Evil Emperor and expressed his intention straightforwardly. Since he had come, he couldn't shrink back. He had thought about it for a long time and decided to come. Xiao Wangqing, don't mention the Saintess in front of me. You should know that it's already a miracle that you're still alive. Don't bargain with me just because you've become a great sovereign. Get out of here before I get angry. Tianpeng Evil Emperor's expression had become incomparably angry. If it wasn't for his birthday today, he would have already attacked Xiao Wangqing. The others didn't speak and assumed a posture of watching a show. This was the internal affairs of the demonic immortal island, so it was not appropriate for them to intervene. However, Qin Xianbing, Qiu Qianyun and the others had a smile on their faces. They all had old grudges with Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Now that Jiang Chen was involved, it was impossible for him to win the favor of Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Sir Demon Sovereign, I, Xiao Wangqing, have come here with the determination to die. But even if I die, I want to fulfill my long-cherished wish of 300 years. As long as Sir Demon Sovereign allows me to meet the Saintess again, I, Xiao Wangqing, will have no complaints even if you take my life immediately. Xiao Wangqing spoke loudly. He had been waiting for this day for 300 years. He didn't want to wait any longer. This Xiao Wangqing is indeed an infatuated man. I've also heard about the matter between Xiao Wangqing and the Saintess of Demonic Immortal Island. I didn't expect Xiao Wangqing to still be unwilling to give up. Alas, this guy is simply courting death. The dignity of the Tianpeng Evil Emperor is inviolable, especially in front of so many people. If he makes the Tianpeng Evil Emperor lose face, I'm afraid that Xiao Wangqing and Jiang Chen will face the same fate. Many people began to discuss in secret. No one had expected such a change to occur today. Since you wish to die, this emperor shall grant you your wish. Tianpeng Evil Emperor flew into a rage. He hated people bargaining with him the most, especially Tianpeng Evil Emperor. In his heart, Tianpeng Evil Emperor felt that Tianpeng Evil Emperor had destroyed his most beloved daughter. Now that Tianpeng Evil Emperor had the face to appear in front of him, his 300-year-old anger flared up. Hong! A powerful chi wave burst out from Tianpeng Evil Emperor's body. Countless people couldn't help but shiver in fear. The wrath of a 6th-grade demon sovereign was enough to burn everything. Junior brother Jiang, leave quickly. Yu Huafan hastily reminded Jiang Chen when he saw Tianpeng Evil Emperor's killing intent. Yu Huafan was very anxious now. This junior brother of his had too many things to deal with. No matter where he went, he couldn't let others have a peace of mind. Tianpeng Evil Emperor stretched out his big hand and grabbed at Xiao Wangqing. Jiang Chen's facial expression changed dramatically. He had never thought that Tianpeng Evil Emperor would attack without giving him any chance. It was impossible for him to watch Xiao Wangqing die in the hands of Xiao Wangqing. With a sway of his body, he stood in front of Xiao Wangqing. Tianpeng Evil Emperor's big hand stopped in front of Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen, leave now. Otherwise, both of you will die together. Obviously, Tianpeng Evil Emperor was infuriated. Jiang Chen didn't doubt Tianpeng Evil Emperor's words at all. Such a person was a man of his word. As long as he didn't leave, he would die under the sharp claws of Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Jiang Chen wouldn't be so naive to think that Tianpeng Evil Emperor would really take him seriously just because he had given away the vermilion bird divine blood. Facing such a scene, even Jiang Chen was at a loss of what to do. It seemed that it was almost impossible to convince Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Little Chenzi, show him the Great Void technique. De Huang Dog's voice suddenly sounded in his ears. Jiang Chen was taken aback and didn't understand what was going on. But he knew that De Huang Dog wouldn't lie to him. What he asked him to do at the critical moment was definitely the right thing to do and could even save his life. De Huang Dog was the famous Demon Emperor Dragon Sunday. He knew a lot of things. Moreover, Jiang Chen recalled that when Tianpeng Evil Emperor appeared, his body movement contained a trace of the Great Void technique. It seemed that there was a reason why De Huang Dog asked him to show the Great Void technique to Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Therefore, in the face of the pressure from Tianpeng Evil Emperor, Jiang Chen didn't speak a word. He grabbed Xiao Wangqing's arm and cast the Great Void technique. With a swish, he appeared more than 30 meters away with Xiao Wangqing. Seeing Jiang Chen's action, the expression of the infuriated Tianpeng Evil Emperor changed immediately. He widened his eyes and stared at Jiang Chen in disbelief. In the eyes of outsiders, Jiang Chen's action was just to evade the attack of Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Some of them even began to ridicule him. One should know that it was ridiculous for an immortal venerable to evade the attack of a 6th-grade demon sovereign. However, Jiang Chen knew what he was doing. He knew very well that in order to talk to someone like Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign, one must have enough bargaining chips and means to make the demon sovereign take them seriously. There was nothing that could be said in terms of reasoning, because in front of Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign, whether it was him or Xiao Wangqing, they were just ants. If the demon sovereign wanted to kill them, they wouldn't even have the chance to speak. Jiang Chen, you can actually cast the Great Void technique? Tianpeng Evil Emperor retracted his qi and couldn't help but ask. However, instead of asking directly, Tianpeng Evil Emperor transmitted his voice using divine sense. Upon seeing this, Jiang Chen heaved a sigh of relief. He glanced at De Huang Dog from the corner of his eyes and gave De Huang Dog a thumbs up. Tell him that you are the successor of Void Sovereign. You have the complete incantation of the Great Void technique and have already mastered it. De Huang Dog continued to transmit his voice to Jiang Chen, giving Jiang Chen pointers on what to do next. Don't tell me I have to use the Great Void technique to exchange with him? Chapter 1971. Don't worry. Tianpeng Evil Emperor won't want your mental cultivation method. Just say that you're the successor of Void Emperor, and you'll have the right to negotiate with him. De Huang Dog said in an incomparably confident tone, as though he was certain that he could defeat Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Jiang Chen nodded his head. He could trust no one in this world, but Big Yellow was the only person he could trust. Demon Sovereign, I've inadvertently obtained the inheritance of Void Emperor and cultivated the complete Great Void technique. Jiang Chen transmitted his voice to Tianpeng Evil Emperor according to De Huang Dog's instructions. Sure enough, after hearing that Jiang Chen was the successor of Void Emperor, Tianpeng Evil Emperor's expression changed again. The way he looked at Jiang Chen also softened. Jiang Chen, you'd better not lie to me. You should know the consequences of lying to me. Tianpeng Evil Emperor transmitted his voice again. With your wisdom, Demon Sovereign, do you think I can lie to you? Jiang Chen smiled. He seemed to have guessed something. It seemed that Tianpeng Evil Emperor and Void Emperor had some relationship. Xiao Wangqing, who was at the side, looked confused and nervous. No one knew about the conversation between Jiang Chen and Tianpeng Evil Emperor, But many people present began to feel a little puzzled because the furious Tianpeng evil emperor suddenly calmed down for some reason. Xiao Wangqing, must you see the saintess? Tianpeng evil emperor looked at Xiao Wangqing. Yes. Demon sovereign. I must see the saintess for the last time even if I have to die. Xiao Wangqing said with incomparable firmness. All right, I'll give you a chance. Heavenly Peng demon sovereign said. Xiao Wangqing couldn't help but be stunned by the sudden change. He couldn't accept it for a moment. Not only Xiao Wangqing, but everyone was also looking at Heavenly Peng demon sovereign in astonishment. They didn't know why Heavenly Peng demon sovereign would suddenly change his attitude. Especially Blue Wolf demon sovereign and some higher-ups of demonic immortal island. They knew how much Heavenly Peng demon sovereign hated Xiao Wangqing. In their opinion, even if Heavenly Peng demon sovereign didn't kill Xiao Wangqing for the sake of the saintess, he would never allow Xiao Wangqing to meet the saintess again. However, they also sensed that this matter wouldn't be that simple. Even if Tianpeng evil emperor changed his attitude, he was only giving Xiao Wangqing a chance. It was conceivable that this chance came with conditions. It wouldn't be easy for Xiao Wangqing to meet the saintess. Please tell me, demon sovereign. As long as I can see the saintess again, I, Xiao Wangqing, won't frown even if I have to climb a mountain of daggers or a sea of fire. Xiao Wangqing said. He didn't know why Tianpeng evil emperor suddenly changed his attitude, but he could guess that the change of Tianpeng evil emperor must be related to Jiang Chen. If you want to see the saintess, you have to rely on your own ability. Xiao Wangqing, you and Jiang Chen will go to the Myriad Wind platform. As long as you can get in, you'll be able to see the saintess. Tianpeng evil emperor said. What? Countless exclamations of surprise rang out. Most of them were from the demonic immortal island. Others might not know what the Myriad Wind platform was, but as a member of the demonic immortal island, they knew it all too well. Given Xiao Wangqing and Jiang Chen's strength, it was no different from courting death to break into the Myriad Wind platform. I really thought that Demon Sovereign is being kind, but I didn't expect him to put forward such harsh conditions. Yeah, the Myriad Wind platform was personally built by Tianpeng evil emperor. He used his understanding of extreme speed to create the Myriad Wind Grand Formation. There are hundreds of millions of wind waves constantly passing through the entire area. Each of the wind waves carries the power of destruction. Once you touch it, you'll be attacked by the wind waves. Not to mention a first-grade Great Sovereign, even a third-grade Great Sovereign will have a slim chance of survival. The Demon Sovereign is clearly trying to kill the two of them. Voices of discussion rose one after another. Most of those who came to the birthday celebration didn't know about the Myriad Wind platform. But now, they knew a thing or two from the discussions. Many of them were gloating. Haha, these two guys have shot themselves in the foot this time. Now that Tianpeng evil emperor wants them to break into the Myriad Wind platform, they have no choice but to go. They'll die if they go. Humph. Serves them right. But it's good that they're dead. It saves us a lot of trouble. We don't have to think about how to kill them. It seems like there's going to be a good show this time. Let's go and see how terrifying the Myriad Wind platform is. It's personally built by Tianpeng evil emperor. Tianpeng's forte is speed. This Myriad Wind platform has almost integrated the profound of extreme speed of the heavens and earth. In order to break through the Myriad Wind platform, one must first have unparalleled speed and master the rules of the countless wind waves. Lan Xian and Tan Jinya were in a good mood. In their opinion, Jiang Chen and Xiao Wangqing were courting death. Now that Tianpeng evil emperor had put forward such a condition in front of so many people, they had no choice but to go. Because if they didn't go, they would be disrespecting Tianpeng evil emperor. What awaited them would be the wrath and punishment of Tianpeng evil emperor. Little Chenzi, Tianpeng evil emperor is testing you. If I'm not mistaken, this Myriad Wind platform can only be easily crossed by the Great Void technique. Tianpeng evil emperor is now testing the authenticity of your identity. If you can break through the Myriad Wind platform and display the Great Void technique to its fullest, it will prove your identity. At that time, even Tianpeng evil emperor will have to receive you personally. De Huang Dog's voice once again passed into Jiang Chen's ears, which was equivalent to giving Jiang Chen a reassuring pill. Xiao Wangqing's face turned incomparably pale when he heard that he was going to challenge the Myriad Wind platform. Despair even began to emerge in his eyes. All right, I'll go and challenge the Myriad Wind platform. Xiao Wangqing's body trembled. His eyes were filled with determination. He had no way out and would not retreat. This was his only chance. He was already prepared to die in the Myriad Wind platform. Even if he had to die in there, he was willing to do so. Just like what Jiang Chen said, at least he had tried his best. Jiang Chen, you don't have to take the risk with me. I'm already very grateful for what you've done today. I didn't befriend you in vain. After today, whether I live or die, my wish will be fulfilled. Xiao Wangqing patted Jiang Chen's shoulder with a smile on his face. He had waited for this day for too long. Even if death awaited him today, he wouldn't flinch or even frown. Senior, let me do something for you. Let's challenge the Myriad Wind platform together. Don't forget that I've obtained the inheritance of Void Emperor and inherited the Great Void technique. You can't compare to me in terms of agility and speed. Chapter 1972. Looking at Jiang Chen's resolute eyes, Xiao Wangqing nodded. All right. He knew Jiang Chen's temperament very well. He knew that Jiang Chen would never change his mind once he made up his mind. In Jiang Chen's heart, he had always felt that he owed him a lot. If Jiang Chen didn't help him when he was in trouble today, he would feel guilty for the rest of his life. More importantly, what Jiang Chen said was right. Jiang Chen's Great Void technique was indeed the greatest help to him in the Myriad Wind platform. In terms of strength, Xiao Wangqing, who had a better understanding of Jiang Chen, knew that Jiang Chen's true combat strength in his half-dragon form wasn't any weaker than him. There was no doubt that he wouldn't be a match for Jiang Chen if they were to have a real fight. Jiang Chen had always been a creator of miracles. Along the way, he had created one miracle after another. He had offended countless people and major powers, but until now, he was still alive and well. A man like him was born with great luck. Jiang Chen was a man who was born with great luck. Xiao Wangqing couldn't deny that it was Jiang Chen's contribution that Tianpeng Evil Emperor suddenly gave him a chance to challenge the Myriad Wind platform, because he absolutely didn't have the ability to do so. Even if he committed suicide in front of Tianpeng Evil Emperor wouldn't care about him. Xiao Wangqing didn't know what method Jiang Chen used to make Tianpeng Evil Emperor give him such an opportunity, but the presence of Jiang Chen made him feel more at ease. He seemed to have seen a glimmer of hope in the originally hopeless situation. Demon Sovereign, both of us are ready. We can go to the Myriad Wind platform now. Jiang Chen cupped his fists at Tianpeng Evil Emperor. He didn't want to waste any more time. All right. Tianpeng Evil Emperor's chi fluctuated. He would like to see if Jiang Chen could break through his Myriad Wind Grand Formation. Junior brother Jiang. Yu Huafan's face was full of worry. They came here to celebrate Tianpeng Evil Emperor's birthday. Even if they couldn't establish a good relationship with Tianpeng Evil Emperor, they didn't want to cause any trouble. However, it seemed like this junior brother of his didn't want to be so peaceful. More importantly, the Myriad Wind platform was personally constructed by Tianpeng Evil Emperor. How could it be so easy to break through it? Now, Yu Huafan began to worry about Jiang Chen's safety. He couldn't help but worry in the face of the terrifying Myriad Wind platform. It just so happens that we also want to see the Myriad Wind Grand Formation laid out by Demon Sovereign. Lan Xian said with a smile. He couldn't wait for Jiang Chen to break through the Myriad Wind platform and hoped that Jiang Chen and Xiao Wangqing would die inside. Tianpeng Evil Emperor stretched out a big hand and gently waved it towards the void. Everyone felt a sense of time and space changing. The surrounding scene began to change. In the blink of an eye, the demonic immortal square had completely changed. No one moved, but they had unconsciously moved to another place. It was still a spacious square, but there were strong winds and waves around, making people feel a trace of coldness. However, everyone present was an expert, so such a harsh environment couldn't affect them in the slightest. Everyone saw a variegated area not far from the square. The area was exuding colorful brilliance. Whistling sounds could be heard coming from it, and the wind and waves were rolling. Thousands of wind and waves intertwined with each other. Each wind and wave was like a wind dragon, carrying an unknown amount of destructive power. It was very terrifying. Even a first-grade great sovereign would tremble in fear if he stood in front of the wind and waves, let alone entering it directly. He's worthy of being called Tianpeng Evil Emperor. What a powerful technique! He has brought us to a different spatial zone with just a wave of his hand. The technique of a 6th-grade demon sovereign is beyond our imagination. Such strength is equivalent to a sovereign lord or even scarier than a sovereign lord. Otherwise, The 9 immortal courts wouldn't have come to congratulate him at the same time. All of them are trying to rope in Tianpeng Evil Emperor. This should be the spatial zone where the Myriad Wind platform is located. Look, in front of us is the Myriad Wind formation. What a terrifying formation. There are countless astral winds, hurricanes, blazing winds, fire winds, cold winds, ice winds. There are all kinds of wind waves of different attributes, intertwining with each other to form this Myriad Wind formation. The Myriad Wind platform is at the center of the Myriad Wind formation. Terrifying. This Myriad Wind Grand Formation was personally created by Tianpeng Evil Emperor. It's imaginable how powerful it is. It carries the profound meaning of Tianpeng's extreme speed. Not to mention Jiang Chen and Xiao Wangqing. Even a third-grade great sovereign wouldn't be able to break into it. I thought that Heavenly Peng Demon's sovereign suddenly showed mercy, but it seems like he's clearly trying to put Jiang Chen and Xiao Wangqing to death. These two bastards are too arrogant. How dare they agree to challenge the Myriad Wind platform? They have no one to blame but themselves for seeking death. Countless exclamations of surprise resounded. That terrifying Myriad Wind formation had given everyone a huge shock. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, it would be very hard for them to believe how such a dense Myriad Wind formation was created. It was simply a heaven-defying method. Hearing about it and seeing it with their own eyes were two completely different concepts. The impact it brought to their hearts was also completely different. After witnessing the Myriad Wind Grand Formation, almost everyone was sure that Jiang Chen and Xiao Wangqing would die without a doubt. Unless it was still not too late for them to retreat now. Of course, it was too late for them to retreat now because Tianpeng Evil Emperor had already changed the scene of his birthday. If they chose to retreat now, it would be equivalent to not giving Tianpeng Evil Emperor face. If they disobeyed Tianpeng Evil Emperor, the consequences would be unimaginable. Death. They will die if they enter the Myriad Wind Grand Formation, and they will also die if they retreat now. Hee. But this will save us some trouble and get rid of a big trouble. That's right. This Jiang Chen is just an intermediate immortal venerable. No matter how talented he is, he's clearly courting death by agreeing to enter the Myriad Wind platform with Xiao Wangqing. I really don't know where he got his confidence from. Lan Xian and Tan Jinye sneered and ridiculed. The thought of Jiang Chen and Xiao Wangqing falling into a dilemma where they had to die no matter what. Their mood couldn't be better. Jiang Chen, Xiao Wangqing, you two can start now. The Saintess is on the Myriad Wind platform at the center of the Myriad Wind Grand Formation. Let's see if you have the ability to get there. Chapter 1973. Body like a swimming dragon. Impervious to wind, Yu Huafan couldn't sit still anymore. His face was full of worry. He knew very well that although Jiang Chen joined the Dragon Hall late, he was Feng Jingyang's favorite disciple. Otherwise, Feng Jingyang wouldn't have asked him to bring Jiang Chen out to attend Tianpeng Evil Emperor's birthday banquet. If Jiang Chen died here, not only would Yu Huafan feel sad, he wouldn't be able to explain it to Feng Jingyang when he returned. However, the current situation was no longer under Yu Huafan's control. He didn't even have the chance to speak. Tianpeng Evil Emperor had become serious. Breaking through the Myriad Wind Grand Formation couldn't be changed anymore. What awaited Jiang Chen and Xiao Wangqing would be a real storm. What should we do? Junior brother Jiang is too reckless. Yu Huafan was getting anxious. Don't panic. Jiang Chen never does things that he's not confident about. He can break through this Myriad Wind Grand Formation. Big Yellow said. His tone was full of confidence, and his face was calm. There was no sign of nervousness on his face. Well, I really have no idea where your confidence comes from. Yu Huafan let out a sigh. That was the Myriad Wind Grand Formation that not even a third-grade great sovereign could break through. He knew that Jiang Chen was a genius, but Jiang Chen was only an intermediate immortal venerable after all. It would be child's play if Jiang Chen took the risk to break through the Myriad Wind Grand Formation. However, De Huang Dog's confidence had more or less reassured Yu Huafan. At this moment, Jiang Chen and Xiao Wangqing were already standing at the edge of the Myriad Wind Grand Formation. Xiao Wangqing's facial expression changed as he looked at the sea of wind ahead. He knew very well that he wouldn't be able to break through half of the Myriad Wind Grand Formation, and would be dismembered by the wind. Jiang Chen, you can leave now. I, Xiao Wangqing, am willing to die in there. You still have a bright future. Don't risk your life with me. He really couldn't bear to let Jiang Chen follow him into the myriad wind grand formation. It was too unfair to Jiang Chen. In order to fulfill his wish, he didn't care about life and death, but Jiang Chen was different. He was a heaven-defying figure with immeasurable achievements in the future. If Jiang Chen died here because of him, Xiao Wangqing wouldn't be able to rest in peace. Senior Xiao, when did you become so wishy-washy? Jiang Chen smiled, then grabbed Xiao Wangqing's arm and entered the myriad wind grand formation in a flash. Huff huff. In an instant, countless terrifying wind dragons attacked from all directions. Each wind wave was like a giant knife, comparable to the most destructive hurricane in the world, intending to dismember the two intruders, Jiang Chen and Xiao Wangqing. Senior Xiao, I'm going to shroud you with my qi. I've taken a look. This hurricane grand formation is at least dozens of miles wide. The deeper you go, the more terrifying it will be. You'll follow me later. I'll emit energy to guide you. Remember, don't move, or you'll face death at any time. Jiang Chen reminded in an incomparably solemn tone. All right. Xiao Wangqing nodded, allowing Jiang Chen's energy and qi to enshroud his body. Only after entering the myriad wind grand formation did Xiao Wangqing fully understand how terrifying these winds and waves were. The distance of a few dozen miles was really hard to traverse. Given his current strength, he wouldn't even be able to cross 1/10 of the distance. At this moment, it was meaningless to ask Jiang Chen to leave. He knew that Jiang Chen was proficient in the Great Void technique. Jiang Chen's ability to deal with the wind in the myriad wind grand formation was much better than his. Therefore, it wouldn't be wrong to do what Jiang Chen said. Now, both of them had no way out. Xiao Wangqing didn't know whether he could break through the myriad wind grand formation or whether he could see the Saintess, but he knew that he absolutely couldn't let them die here. Therefore, what he needed to do now was to stay calm and do as Jiang Chen said. Jiang Chen was a man who was good at creating miracles. As long as he was here, they might really have a chance. Innumerable eyes fell upon the myriad wind grand formation, especially Tianpeng Evil Emperor. His eyes were completely unblinking, and his energy was concentrated to the extreme, as though he didn't want to miss any step of Jiang Chen's movement technique. Everyone wanted to see how long Jiang Chen and Xiao Wangqing could last in the near-death myriad wind grand formation. Once the myriad wind grand formation is activated, it will be like countless ferocious beasts. How far do you think they can go? Jiang Chen is merely an intermediate immortal venerable and Xiao Wangqing is just a first-grade great sovereign who has just advanced to the great sovereign realm. In my opinion, I'm afraid that they won't be able to walk through 1/10 of the grand formation. I think so too. It's already pretty good if they can cross 1/10 of the distance. It's almost impossible to break through the formation unless there's a miracle. Voices of discussion rose and fell. To them, this was the real show. It was much more exciting than the previous song and dance. It was already an eye-opener to be able to witness the myriad wind grand formation with their own eyes. Inside the myriad wind grand formation, Jiang Chen's eyes sparkled. 2 rays of brilliant light shot out from his eyes as he looked into the depths of the formation. At this time, the Great Soul Derivation Technique and Great Divination Art were activated. Of course, the most important thing to break through the myriad wind grand formation was the Great Void Technique. However, the Great Divination Art also played an important role. After all, the deeper one went, the more terrifying the myriad wind formation would be. The Great Divination Art could completely calculate the trajectory of the wind waves, and then use the extreme speed of the Great Void Technique to easily pass through the myriad wind. After observing for a while, the corner of Jiang Chen's mouth revealed a trace of a smile, because he had already figured out all the trajectories of the wind waves. With the help of the Great Void Technique, it would be a piece of cake for him to break through the myriad wind grand formation. To an outsider, breaking through the myriad wind grand formation was as difficult as ascending to the sky, but it was nothing to Jiang Chen. With the help of the Great Void Technique, nothing would be a problem, not to mention the assistance of the Great Divination Art. Jiang Chen knew that this was a test from Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Jiang Chen speculated that Tianpeng Evil Emperor must be very familiar with the Great Void Technique. As long as he could master the technique, he would be able to break through the myriad wind grand formation. Senior Xiao, let's go. Chapter 1974. Good. Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign's eyes shone even brighter when he saw Jiang Chen's movement technique. He finally believed that Jiang Chen wasn't deceiving him. What Jiang Chen used was indeed the Great Void Technique. Moreover, the fact that Jiang Chen was able to use it so skillfully proved that he was the true descendant of Void Sovereign. There was no doubt about it. What kind of movement technique is that? How can it be so fast and unpredictable? What a fast movement technique. It's as though he's able to find the trajectory of the wind and waves. His movements are graceful and incomparably effortless. This Jiang Chen is merely an intermediate immortal venerable. How could he have such a powerful movement technique? He's able to travel 3 miles in an instant in the myriad wind grand formation. I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it with my own eyes. That's the Great Void Technique. This bastard has obtained the Great Void Technique left behind by Void Sovereign in Golden Horizon. Upon seeing Jiang Chen's movement technique, many of them exclaimed. All of them were experts. Even though they couldn't recognize the Great Void Technique, they had to admit that Jiang Chen's movement technique was indeed miraculous. One should know that not everyone could stay untouched by the wind in the myriad wind grand formation. The Great Void Technique. It's actually the Great Void Technique of Void Sovereign. No wonder this kid is confident enough to break through the myriad wind grand formation. Incredible. The Great Void Technique is unparalleled in the world. Back then, the Void Sovereign only relied on this movement technique to establish his life as a supreme sovereign, almost as famous as Immortal Execution King, Great Sovereign Zongxian and Golden Sovereign. This Jiang Chen is really lucky to have obtained the inheritance of Void Sovereign. Humph. So what if he knew the Great Void Technique? The deeper one went into the myriad wind grand formation, the scarier it would be. Even if he had the Great Void Technique, he wouldn't be able to break through the distance of dozens of miles. One should know that Jiang Chen was merely an intermediate immortal venerable. Even if he had the Great Void Technique, he wouldn't be able to understand the true essence of the technique. That's right. The Great Void Technique isn't something that a puny immortal venerable can fully comprehend. Even if Jiang Chen can use it, he's still far from being comparable to the Void Sovereign. I'd like to see how he's going to break through the myriad wind grand formation. Everyone was shocked. The news of the Great Void Technique spread like wildfire. Although no one knew about Jiang Chen's movement technique, the 3 immortal courts knew about it. After all, it wasn't a secret that Jiang Chen had obtained the Great Void Technique. However, obtaining the Great Void Technique and mastering it were 2 completely different things. The myriad wind grand formation was just too terrifying. No one believed that Jiang Chen could really break through it. Even though he was like a fish in water now, it wouldn't be that easy once he reached the center of the grand formation. Amazing! I never thought that junior brother Jiang has such a technique. I can't believe that he has obtained the inheritance of Void Sovereign. Yu Huafan's face finally revealed a trace of a smile. The worry on his face had lessened a lot when he saw Jiang Chen's movement technique. In the entire immortal world, there wasn't a single person who didn't know about the Void Sovereign. He was an ancient great sovereign, the most powerful character of his era. He relied on the Great Void Technique to move unhindered in the immortal world, becoming as famous as many other giants. He left behind countless legends that were passed down by the later generations. Anyone who could obtain the inheritance of the Void Sovereign was considered as lucky. When they saw Jiang Chen displaying the Great Void Technique, many of their faces revealed a look of jealousy, especially those young men who were about the same age as Jiang Chen. They were also rare geniuses and famous existences in their own immortal domain, but none of them were the lucky ones that were acknowledged by the Void Sovereign. Inside the myriad wind grand formation, Xiao Wangqing, who was following behind Jiang Chen, had eyes full of essence. Senior Xiao, I might as well tell you that I've completely grasped the movement trajectory of the myriad wind grand formation. You just need to wait quietly. I'll let you meet the Saintess in a moment. Jiang Chen turned to Xiao Wangqing and said with a smile, Jiang Chen, you're simply a miracle. Xiao Wangqing's face also revealed a smile. His heart that was filled with despair was instantly filled with endless hope. He knew that Jiang Chen wasn't boasting. Moreover, Jiang Chen's performance just now was enough to prove that Jiang Chen had the ability to break through the myriad wind grand formation. Xiao Wangqing didn't know how Jiang Chen grasped the movement trajectory of the formation so quickly. In his heart, Jiang Chen had once again created a miracle. What he needed to do now was to follow Jiang Chen's instructions and stay by Jiang Chen's side. At this point, the energy and density of the wind waves were much more terrifying than at the beginning. This was almost Xiao Wangqing's limit. If he were to break through the myriad wind grand formation himself, this position would be his focus and it would be extremely difficult for him to take another step. Senior Xiao, let's go. Jiang Chen's face was full of confidence. With a smile on the corner of his mouth, he flashed 3 miles away. He didn't stop there. After flashing 3 more times, he was already more than 10 miles away. Throughout the whole process, Jiang Chen's performance was relaxed and casual. There wasn't the slightest slack in his movement technique. He walked in the wind waves. The wind waves didn't even move the corner of his clothes, let alone hurt him. Moreover, he wasn't alone. He also had Xiao Wangqing with him. If he was alone, he would have already broken through the myriad wind grand formation. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. How can he be so relaxed? This is simply a miracle. That's the myriad wind grand formation deployed by Tianpeng Evil Emperor himself. Jiang Chen is walking in it as if he was walking normally. More importantly, he has brought Jiang Chen with him. Did you see that Jiang Chen hasn't moved a bit from the beginning to the end? He's completely relying on Jiang Chen's lead. Sure enough, the Great Void Technique is the #1 movement technique in the heavens and earth. It seems like Jiang Chen has already mastered the profundity of the Great Void Technique and obtained the true inheritance of the Void Sovereign. It's truly rare to see an intermediate immortal venerable reach this level. Now, it seems like Jiang Chen is very likely to break through the myriad wind grand formation by relying on the Great Void Technique. Today, I've witnessed the birth of a miracle. Humph! Don't speak too early. He hasn't even crossed half of the formation. You are looking down on the means of Tianpeng Evil Emperor. No one wasn't shocked. No one could keep their calm. They had never seen such a scene before. Jiang Chen's performance this time had made him famous in the immortal world. There was no one in the 9 immortal domains and the demonic immortal island who didn't know him. Chapter 1975. On the high platform, Tianpeng Evil Emperor's expression grew more and more solemn. His eyes were a little blurred. The movement technique displayed by Jiang Chen seemed to have brought him back to the past. Although Heavenly Peng Demon's sovereign hated Xiao Wangqing, he couldn't wait for Jiang Chen to break through the myriad wind grand formation. What he wanted to witness wasn't a miracle, but a proof. In his heart, he had a blind admiration for the Great Void Technique. Although the myriad wind grand formation that he had set up was incomparably profound and pursued the extreme speed of the heavens and earth, in Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign's opinion, it was nothing in front of the Great Void Technique. Today, he saw a certain shadow in Jiang Chen, a shadow that was unparalleled. That exquisite movement technique was enough to convince him that Jiang Chen had indeed obtained the true inheritance of Void Sovereign and gained the recognition of the Great Void Technique. Otherwise, an intermediate immortal venerable wouldn't be able to use the Great Void Technique to such a proficient degree. Even Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign couldn't find the slightest flaw in Jiang Chen's movement technique. It was an almost perfect performance. There was no flaw at all. All eyes fell upon the myriad wind grand formation. The 2 dragon-like silhouettes had already traversed half of the region. It was still unknown whether Jiang Chen could bring Xiao Wangqing through the myriad wind grand formation. But now they no longer thought that Jiang Chen and Xiao Wangqing would die for sure. Because a miracle was right in front of them, they had no choice but to face it. In the myriad wind grand formation, Jiang Chen, who had already traversed half of the region, didn't look nervous at all. The surrounding winds and waves were incomparably terrifying. Xiao Wangqing's face couldn't help but turn pale when he sensed the roar and destruction of the wind dragons. However, Xiao Wangqing could see that Jiang Chen's face was as calm and confident as ever. Putting aside Jiang Chen's cultivation base, the fact that he could remain calm even if a mountain collapsed in front of him was enough to make Xiao Wangqing admire him. From an outsider's point of view, the deeper one went into the myriad wind formation, the more terrifying it became. The wind waves grew denser and denser, and the energy contained in each wave grew stronger and stronger. However, in Jiang Chen's view, there was no difference between the inside and the outside of the myriad winds formation, because he had completely mastered the trajectory of the wind and waves. The Great Void Technique could find the tiniest gap in the wind and waves to pass through. Therefore, the strength and density of the waves had no effect on Jiang Chen. Shua! With a sway of his body, Jiang Chen brought Xiao Wangqing across 7 to 8 miles in an instant. The whole process was as easy and casual as the beginning. The dense wind waves couldn't touch him at all. Such a scene caused another round of exclamations. Who would have thought that when Jiang Chen was at the periphery of the Grand Formation, he would only be able to travel 3 miles at a time? When he reached the denser part of the Grand Formation, his speed should have weakened. But now, He could travel 7 to 8 miles in one go. He was walking in the myriad wind grand formation as if he was walking on flat ground. This was too shocking. Shwa! Before people could react, Jiang Chen's body swayed again, and this time, he traveled another 7 to 8 miles. At this moment, Jiang Chen and Xiao Wangqing could clearly see the interior of the myriad wind platform. It was a towering altar with a radius of only a few dozen feet. There was only a large blue stone on the altar, and on the blue stone sat a beautiful woman in a pale blue feather robe. The woman looked about 25 or 26 years old. Even though she had been imprisoned here for 300 years and her face was haggard, it still couldn't hide her peerless beauty. This was a devastatingly beautiful woman. Her brows were full of melancholy, which made people couldn't help but feel a trace of pity for her. She didn't wear any makeup, but there wasn't a single blemish on her face. Her appearance alone was absolutely impeccable. "You are..." Xiao Wangqing called out. His voice was obviously trembling and hoarse. It had been more than 300 years. He had been longing for her day and night. Finally, he could see her in person. Even with his temperament, he couldn't control his emotions at this moment. The lady on the myriad wind platform suddenly trembled when she heard this call. She turned her head and looked at Xiao Wangqing's direction. When she saw Xiao Wangqing through the dense wind waves, she was dumbfounded. Her mouth was agape, her eyes were filled with horror and disbelief. A moment later, 2 drops of tears fell from her eyes. "Xiao Lang." The woman's voice was choked with sobs. Her body was trembling violently. This scene was like a dream. Outside the myriad wind grand formation, many people stood up in excitement. No one had thought that Jiang Chen could really reach there. That place was only 3 to 4 li away from the myriad wind platform, but it was also the place where the hurricane was the strongest. If Jiang Chen was as relaxed as before, he only needed to flicker and he would be able to enter the myriad wind platform. Heavens! This kid is really going to get through the myriad wind grand formation by relying on the Great Void technique. This is simply a miracle. But there's still one last step. Do you guys think he can really get through? Judging from his previous performance, I'm afraid that he has already completely mastered the Great Void technique. I guess Jiang Chen will definitely be able to get through. Everyone was shocked. A trace of excitement emerged on their faces, especially the people from the demonic immortal island. They all knew about the torturous relationship between Xiao Wangqing and the Saintess. In many people's hearts, the poor Saintess had been imprisoned for more than 300 years. They also hoped that this pair of ill-fated lovebirds could finally be together. Therefore, the people of the demonic immortal island were incomparably happy to see that Jiang Chen was really going to get through the myriad wind platform with Xiao Wangqing. "Senior, stay calm. I'll bring you over." Jiang Chen could sense that Xiao Wangqing's emotions were fluctuating greatly. He was afraid that Xiao Wangqing would jump out of excitement. If that happened, all their efforts would be in vain. Given Xiao Wangqing's strength, he would die on the spot if he fell into the hurricane. Xiao Wangqing calmed himself down. He knew that Jiang Chen was right. The more critical the situation was, the more important it was for him to stay calm. Although there was only one last step left, it was also the most dangerous one. Any accident that happened would be fatal. "Let's go." Jiang Chen's aura fluctuated and he exerted the Great Void technique to the extreme. In the blink of an eye, they passed through the last area and safely arrived at the myriad wind platform. This was already a safe zone. Tianpeng Evil Emperor had set up a high platform here and set up a myriad wind grand formation around it, completely imprisoning the Saintess inside. It could be said to be the most terrifying prison in the world. Hua! Outside the myriad wind grand formation, there was a sudden uproar. Everyone stood up in shock. They had witnessed the birth of a miracle with their own eyes. Chapter 1976. My God! He really did it in such a short period of time. More importantly, he didn't suffer any injuries during the whole process. That's the scariest thing. The Great Void technique is worthy of its name. I'm afraid that only the Great Void technique can pass through the myriad wind grand formation so easily. This Jiang Chen is absolutely a peerless genius. It's a pity that he's not a disciple of our immortal court. No one wasn't shocked. No one could remain calm. The birth of a miracle always stirred their hearts. After all, no one thought that Jiang Chen would be able to get through it. Plus, Jiang Chen wasn't alone. He had Xiao Wangqing with him. Although Xiao Wangqing was a first-grade great sovereign, everyone knew that Xiao Wangqing was a burden to Jiang Chen in the process of breaking through the myriad wind grand formation. Despite that, Jiang Chen was still able to break through the formation unscathed. The whole process was like taking a stroll in the garden. The endless wind and waves didn't affect him in the slightest. Not even Xiao Wangqing was hurt. If this wasn't a miracle, then what was? None of the first-class disciples of the 9 immortal courts could do what Jiang Chen did. Even though Lan Xian and Tan Jinya's faces were incomparably unsightly, they had to admit that Jiang Chen was stronger than them. If they were in Jiang Chen's shoes, they were afraid that they wouldn't even be able to pass through half of the formation. On the myriad wind platform, Tian Lingyu and Xiao Wangqing finally met again after 300 years. Tian Lingyu stood up from the big green rock. Despite her cultivation base being a first-grade great sovereign, she couldn't help but tremble with excitement. Tian Lingyu's cultivation hadn't been delayed despite being imprisoned all these years. She possessed the complete heavenly Peng bloodline, which made her cultivation base incomparably terrifying. So it wasn't strange at all for her to reach the first-grade great sovereign realm. If she wasn't imprisoned, she would have already reached the third-grade demon sovereign realm after 300 years. Xiao Wangqing and Tian Lingyu stared at each other. Neither of them spoke. They seemed to have forgotten how to speak, or perhaps, they felt that this was a dream. Jiang Chen sighed as he stood to the side. He could feel the feelings between the two of them. Even after 300 years, it still couldn't change. It was a kind of infatuation that couldn't be shaken. You're... Xiao Wangqing's trembling hands reached out to caress Tian Lingyu's face. Xiaolang, I'm not dreaming, right? Tears fell from Tian Lingyu's eyes. She had dreamed of such a scene many times, but she knew that it was just a dream. It would never become a reality in this lifetime. For the past 300 years, she had been worried about Xiao Wangqing's safety. After all, given Xiao Wangqing's identity and status, it was too dangerous for him to offend the demonic immortal island. Now, it seemed like his father was very trustworthy. At least, Xiao Wangqing was still alive until now. Tian Lingyu couldn't control her emotions. She threw herself into Xiao Wangqing's arms and snuggled up to him. Swish! With a flicker of light and shadow, Tian Peng Evil Emperor appeared on the myriad wind platform. Looking at the excitement of Xiao Wangqing and Tian Lingyu, Tian Peng Evil Emperor felt a touch of melancholy in his heart. Demon Emperor. Jiang Chen cupped his fists at Tian Peng Evil Emperor. Xiao Wangqing hastily separated from Tian Lingyu and bowed to Tian Peng Evil Emperor. However, Tian Lingyu's attitude towards Tian Peng Evil Emperor was obviously not as good. She turned her head away, as though she didn't want to talk to Tian Peng Evil Emperor. Tian Peng Evil Emperor was obviously used to his daughter's indifferent attitude. Although Tian Peng Evil Emperor concealed it very well, Jiang Chen still detected a trace of sadness in his eyes. This was understandable. After all, Tian Lingyu was his most beloved daughter. It was impossible for Tian Peng Evil Emperor not to be sad that the father and daughter had come to this point. But then, Tian Peng Evil Emperor's eyes fell on Jiang Chen. The expression in his eyes had changed dramatically from before. It could be described as earth-shaking. Clatter! Tian Peng Evil Emperor waved his hand to produce a light shield that enveloped him and Jiang Chen, completely isolating them from the outside world. Jiang Chen knew that Tian Peng Evil Emperor had something to say to him, and it was something confidential that even Xiao Wangqing and Tian Lingyu couldn't know. Jiang Chen, it seems that you have really obtained the inheritance of the Void Emperor. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to display the Great Void technique so perfectly. Tian Peng Evil Emperor said. Sir Monster Sovereign, I can also see a trace of the Great Void technique in you. Could it be that Sir Monster Sovereign is related to the Void Emperor? Jiang Chen asked. This was what he was eager to know. He was not afraid of Tian Peng Evil Emperor, nor was he afraid that Tian Peng Evil Emperor would force him to hand over the Great Void technique. Firstly, he didn't sense any hostility from Tian Peng Evil Emperor's eyes. Secondly, he firmly believed in De Huang Dog's words. If it wasn't for De Huang Dog's secret guidance, things wouldn't have progressed so smoothly. Good eyesight. It's really a miracle for a young man like you. Jiang Chen, your future achievements are bound to be limitless. But what I displayed was not the Great Void technique. Tian Peng Evil Emperor said. His words were full of praise for Jiang Chen. Many years ago, when I was still a little Tian Peng, I received the guidance of the Void Emperor. That's why you can feel a trace of the Great Void technique in my body movement. Moreover, I saw the Void Emperor display the Great Void technique with my own eyes. It was simply peerless. Because of this, the Great Void technique had a greater influence on me, allowing me to possess the true extreme speed of a Tianpeng. Moreover, if it wasn't for the guidance of the Void Emperor, I wouldn't have such great achievements today. The Void Emperor is the greatest benefactor of my life, so when I saw you display the Great Void technique, I was incomparably excited. Tianpeng Evil Emperor said. He was completely immersed in his fantasy, as if recalling what happened countless years ago. Jiang Chen finally understood why Tianpeng Evil Emperor attached so much importance to the Great Void technique. It turned out that there were some connections in the past. According to what Tianpeng Evil Emperor said, the Void Emperor's kindness to Tianpeng Evil Emperor was indeed too great. Heavenly Peng had always relied on his speed, and it was the dream of countless people to receive guidance from the Void Sovereign. Just like what Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign had said, if it wasn't for the guidance from the Void Sovereign, he wouldn't have achieved what he had today. There was no doubt about it. Chapter 1977. I never thought that Demon Sovereign and Void Sovereign had such a relationship, but there's one thing that I don't understand. Jiang Chen said. Go ahead. Tianpeng Evil Emperor found Jiang Chen to be more and more pleasing to the eye. Putting aside the fact that Jiang Chen was the successor of Void Sovereign, the fact that Jiang Chen was able to break through the myriad wind grand formation was enough to make him look at Jiang Chen in a new light. Since Demon Sovereign has such a relationship with the Great Void technique, why didn't you ask me to hand over the Great Void technique when you knew that I have it? After all, if Demon Sovereign obtained the Great Void technique, it would definitely be of great help to your cultivation. It's even possible for you to break through to the 7th grade Great Sovereign realm with the help of the Great Void technique. Jiang Chen wasn't a person who would beat around the bush, so he went straight to the point. After listening to Jiang Chen's question, Tianpeng Evil Emperor admired Jiang Chen even more. This young man was straightforward and dared to talk about the Great Void technique. Moreover, from the beginning until now, Jiang Chen was neither servile nor overbearing in front of him. His expression was natural. If it was any other young man, he would definitely be extremely nervous in front of him and would think twice before speaking. The more he behaved like this, the more Tianpeng Evil Emperor liked Jiang Chen. Of course, this feeling was completely due to the fact that Jiang Chen was the successor of Void Sovereign. It was normal for Jiang Chen to behave differently from ordinary people. This also showed the foresight of Void Sovereign. After all, the successor chosen by Void Sovereign would not be a simple character. Jiang Chen, it seems like you still don't know something. Everyone covets the Great Void technique, but no one knows that not everyone can cultivate this secret technique. In order to cultivate the Great Void technique, one must have great luck and be acknowledged by the Void Sovereign. In the past, the Void Sovereign only gave me some pointers, but didn't impart the Great Void technique to me directly. This is enough to show that I'm not suitable to be his descendant, and I'm not qualified to cultivate this technique. Tianpeng Evil Emperor said with a smile, the Great Void technique in your hand contains the will of Void Sovereign. Only those who obtain the approval of this will can cultivate the Great Void technique and be qualified to become the successor of Void Sovereign. Let me put it this way. If you cannot obtain the approval of Void Sovereign, even if you obtain the Great Void technique, you will not be able to cultivate it. In other words, even if I force you to hand over the Great Void technique, it will be meaningless to me, because I cannot cultivate this secret technique without the approval of Void Sovereign. Moreover, I, Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign, am not a person who returns kindness with enmity. Back then, the Void Emperor's kindness towards me was heavier than a mountain. Later on, he disappeared without a trace. I don't know if he perished in that catastrophe, but I agreed that the Void Emperor wouldn't perish. With just the Great Void, no one in this world would be able to kill him. For so many years, especially after I achieved great achievements, I have always been looking for a chance to repay the kindness of the past, but I never had the chance. Now that the successor of the Void Emperor has appeared, I naturally have to pay great attention to him. Tianpeng Evil Emperor did not hide his thoughts and told Jiang Chen all the things that happened in the past. Jiang Chen could feel the great change in Tianpeng Evil Emperor's attitude towards him. He was now very friendly towards him, as if he was the descendant of his benefactor. Jiang Chen knew that this was all because of Void Sovereign. Jiang Chen finally understood that unknowingly, he had become the true successor of Void Sovereign. Lord Demon Sovereign values friendship and righteousness. Jiang Chen admires you. Jiang Chen cupped his fists towards Tianping Evil Emperor and said sincerely. A person like Tianping Evil Emperor was very rare. Once a person reached a high position, his mentality would easily change and he would lose his original heart. This was the case with Star Sovereign. Before Heaven's Sovereign was reincarnated, he was just a person by Heaven's Sovereign's side. When he became the Sovereign Lord, his mentality changed completely and he wanted to harm Heaven's Sovereign. There were many people like this in every era. However, Tianping Evil Emperor did not forget his original heart and never forgot the kindness he had shown him. To Tianping Evil Emperor, it was impossible for him to meet Void Sovereign again. He was already very lucky to be able to meet Void Sovereign's successor. Today, he met Jiang Chen and fulfilled one of Tianping Evil Emperor's wishes. Brother Jiang Chen, if you don't mind, you can call me Big Brother from now on. Tianping Evil Emperor patted Jiang Chen's shoulder and said, "Fa." Jiang Chen rolled his eyes and staggered, almost falling down. Calling Tianping Evil Emperor brother? This is too crazy. I can't. Demon Sovereign. You are my senior. How can I, Jiang Chen, call you brother? Jiang Chen hastily waved his hand. This joke was going too far. In terms of seniority, there was a huge gap between him and Tianping Evil Emperor. In his heart, Xiao Wangqing was already his senior, and Xiao Wangqing was also the son-in-law of Tianping Evil Emperor. If he and Tianping Evil Emperor called each other brother, wouldn't Xiao Wangqing have to call him uncle in the future? Damn, this is too exciting. Jiang Chen didn't even dare to think about it. Brother Jiang Chen, if you don't agree, it means that you look down on your elder brother. That year, Void Sovereign had given me pointers. I have raised my status and can be considered as half a disciple of Void Sovereign. You are the descendant of Void Sovereign and the true disciple of Void Sovereign. In this way, we are brothers of the same sect. So what's wrong with you calling me elder brother? Or is it that I, Tianping Evil Emperor, am not qualified to be your elder brother, Jiang Chen? The more Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign spoke, the angrier he became. Jiang Chen's heart was in turmoil. Who was Tianping Evil Emperor? He was an existence that even the 9 great immortal courts had to curry favor with. Jiang Chen had only come to congratulate Tianping Evil Emperor on his birthday. He had never dreamed that he would be able to call Tianping Evil Emperor brother. However, Tianping Evil Emperor's words left Jiang Chen speechless, because what Tianping Evil Emperor said was reasonable. Both of them were disciples of Void Sovereign, which meant that they were brothers of the same sect. All right, elder brother, please accept my salute. Jiang Chen's chi fluctuated as he clasped his fists at Tianping Evil Emperor. He wasn't a bashful person. Jiang Chen had always been a person who didn't care about trifles. Moreover, seeing that Tianping Evil Emperor was getting angry, he wouldn't be able to appreciate Jiang Chen's kindness if he still didn't agree. Chapter 1978. Jiang Chen was very happy, but he still couldn't get used to it. Because befriending Tianping Evil Emperor was equivalent to gaining a powerful helper. His main purpose of going to Fengqi Immortal Court was to help Heaven Sovereign to deal with Star Sovereign. However, Star Sovereign's forces were deeply rooted in the demonic Immortal Island, and his strength was too strong. So it wasn't easy to topple Star Sovereign. However, it would be much better if he could gain the help of Tianping Evil Emperor when the war broke out in the future. From this point alone, Jiang Chen's trip to demonic Immortal Island was not in vain. Instead, he had profited a lot. Haha, good brother Chen. Today you and I have become friends. My wish of many years has been fulfilled. This is my gift to you. Take it. Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign laughed heartily. With a flip of his palm, he took out an item and handed it to Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen saw that the item Tianping Evil Emperor took out was the divine blood of the vermilion bird that he had sent out on behalf of Fengqi Immortal Court. But now, Tianping Evil Emperor was going to give it to him. This made Jiang Chen feel a little helpless. Big brother, this divine blood of the vermilion bird is our gift to you. It's very beneficial to you and can help you break through to the 7th grade Great Sovereign Realm. This is too precious. I can't accept it. Jiang Chen declined. Although he had coveted the divine blood of the vermilion bird for a long time, it belonged to Tianping Evil Emperor after all. Brother Chen, you're wrong. The divine blood of the vermilion bird will indeed help me, but my speed has reached a limit. Even with the help of the divine blood of the vermilion bird, it will be very difficult for me to improve further. Furthermore, I intend to rely on myself to advance to the 7th grade Demon's Sovereign Realm. Once I reach the 7th grade Demon's Sovereign Realm, it's a very crucial step. I must rely on myself. If I break through to the 7th grade Demon's Sovereign Realm, I'll be able to climb to a higher level in the future. Furthermore, I, Tianpeng Evil Emperor, will never take back the things that I've given out. If you don't accept it, it means that you're looking down on your brother. Tianpeng Evil Emperor's face darkened as he spoke. He was about to get angry again. Jiang Chen hastily snatched the divine blood of the vermilion bird. He wouldn't dare to look down on this mighty big brother of his. Since Tianpeng Evil Emperor had already said so, there was no need for Jiang Chen to be polite anymore. Holding the divine blood of the vermilion bird in his hand, Jiang Chen was very excited. A drop of the divine blood of the vermilion bird was enough to push his cultivation base to the late immortal venerable realm, perhaps even the peak of the late immortal venerable realm. Furthermore, it wouldn't affect his foundation in the slightest. Not only that, the divine blood of the vermilion bird contained a trace of the bloodline of the vermilion bird. Once Jiang Chen absorbed it, he would be able to use the dragon transformation skill to refine the vermilion bird fire. Currently, his body already had the true dragon fire, true thunder fire, Qilin saint fire, and fire of Sunday. If the vermilion bird divine fire was added, he would have 5 types of supreme flames. That's right. Tianpeng Evil Emperor had a face full of smiles. He was afraid that only he, Tianpeng Evil Emperor, could smile so happily after giving away the vermilion bird fire. Big brother, the infatuation between Xiao Wangqing and the Saintess is very touching. Have you considered fulfilling their wish? Jiang Chen looked at Xiao Wangqing and Tian Lingyu outside the light barrier and couldn't help but speak. Now that he had become Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign's brother, there were some words that he had to say. He must fight for Xiao Wangqing. Tianpeng Evil Emperor turned his head to look at the blissful Xiao Wangqing and Tian Lingyu, especially the smile on Tian Lingyu's face. It was the first time for him to see his daughter smiling so happily. As a father, it was impossible for him not to be moved. Brother Chen, it's not that I'm a heartless father. Yu is my daughter and the woman I love the most. I've been very sad to lock her up here all these years. I've been waiting for her to change her mind and forget that man, but it seems impossible now. However, the rules of our demonic immortal island cannot be changed. Those are the rules left by the first Saintess. Even I can't violate it. As a member of the demonic immortal island, she can't marry an outsider, especially the Saintess. Yu's identity is too sensitive. Tianpeng Evil Emperor said helplessly. I have a way to make the best of both worlds. I wonder if Big Brother is willing to listen to it. Jiang Chen said. Tell me about it, Brother Chen. Tianpeng Evil Emperor looked at Jiang Chen. I've also noticed some things in the past few days. Although the demonic immortal island is a gathering place for demons, there are also some humans here. These humans should have been here when the demonic immortal island was established, so they became members of the demonic immortal island. Jiang Chen asked. Yes. It said that there were a lot of humans in the beginning of the demonic immortal island. Later on, the demonic immortal island was occupied by the demon race. However, there were also humans who took root on the island. Therefore, there has always been a small number of humans on the island. We don't exclude them. From top to bottom, both humans and demonic beasts are very united. Tianpeng Evil Emperor nodded and said, That's great. Since the rules of the demonic immortal island forbid the women of the island from marrying outsiders, if Xiao Wangqing joins the island and becomes one of us, the Saintess's marriage with him won't be considered as breaking the rules of the island. In this way, not only will the rules of the island be upheld, the grudge between you and the Saintess will also be resolved, and the two lovers will be able to live happily ever after. Isn't this killing 3 birds with 1 stone? Jiang Chen said. Upon hearing this, Tianpeng Evil Emperor nodded. Brother Chen, what you said is a good idea. I can see that you have a good relationship with Xiao Wangqing, and you're even willing to break through the myriad wind grand formation for him. In that case, I'll give you face. As long as he's willing to join the demonic immortal island, I'll fulfill their wish. Many thanks for Big Brother's help. To tell you the truth, Senior Xiao once saved this little brother's life. This little brother will definitely repay this favor. Jiang Chen said with a smile. The stone in his heart was finally lifted. He began to feel grateful to Void Emperor, who he had never met before. If it wasn't for Void Emperor, It would have been extremely difficult to solve the problem between Xiao Wangqing and Tian Lingyu. Given Tian Pang evil emperor's temper, it was impossible for him to give Jiang Chen face. Voila! Tian Pang evil emperor waved his hand and the light shield disappeared. He and Jiang Chen walked out of the light shield. Xiao Wangqing hastily saluted Tian Pang evil emperor. Xiao Wangqing, since Brother Chen has pleaded for you, I'm going to give you a chance. Tian Pang evil emperor said. Brother Chen? Who's Brother Chen? Could it be Jiang Chen? Are you kidding me? Chapter 1979. Senior Xiao, Big Brother Tian Pang and I have become sworn brothers. We're on the same side from now on. Jiang Chen said with a smile. He knew that this must be a great blow to Xiao Wangqing, but he still had to say it. After all, it was an unchangeable fact. What? Xiao Wangqing and Tian Lingyu exclaimed at the same time. They staggered and almost fell to the ground. They looked at Jiang Chen and Tian Pang evil emperor, feeling that this was an incomparably funny matter, but judging from their expressions, it seemed to be true. Jiang Chen and Tian Pang evil emperor had become sworn brothers? This joke was a little too much. Xiao Wangqing and Tian Lingyu couldn't accept it for a moment. They knew Tian Pang evil emperor all too well. He was an incomparably proud and aloof man. There were only a few people in the world who could enter his eyes. Even the sovereign lords of the 9 immortal courts who had been trying to rope in Tian Pang evil emperor was ignored by him. Now, Jiang Chen, an intermediate immortal venerable brat, had become sworn brothers with Tian Pang evil emperor? What was wrong with this world? Jiang Chen, is this true? Xiao Wangqing couldn't believe it. That's right. According to seniority, you will have to address Brother Chen as uncle from now on. Tian Pang evil emperor said. Uncle Chen? Fuck you. Xiao Wangqing almost spurted out a mouthful of blood. He hadn't done anything yet, but Uncle Chen had appeared. Wasn't this a joke? Tian Lingyu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Just now, Xiao Wangqing had already told her about Jiang Chen. It was all thanks to Jiang Chen's help that Jiang Chen was able to break through the myriad wind grand formation. Therefore, she was incomparably grateful to Jiang Chen. At this moment, Tian Lingyu stared unblinkingly at Jiang Chen. She really wanted to know how charming this young man was to be able to make Tian Pang evil emperor swear brotherhood with him and call him brother. As the daughter of the Tian Pang evil emperor, no one knew the Tian Pang evil emperor better than her. He was arrogant, stubborn, and had high standards. There were not many people in this world who could catch her eye. Now, she only treated Jiang Chen this way. This was enough to show that Jiang Chen was indeed extraordinary. What she could be sure of was that the Tian Pang evil emperor would never call others brothers for no reason, or even become sworn brothers with others. Not even emperors of the same level could do so, but Jiang Chen did it. Big brother, let's not talk about seniority. Otherwise, I'll be ashamed. Jiang Chen shook his head. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. If Xiao Wangqing really dared to call him Uncle Chen, he wouldn't dare to agree at all. Senior Xiao, I've just discussed with Big Brother. The love between you and the Saintess has truly moved us. So Big Brother is going to give you a chance. The rules of the demonic immortal island can't be violated. As long as you agree to join the demonic immortal island from now on, the wedding between you and the Saintess can be arranged. You two have been separated for more than 300 years. Now, you can finally have a happy life. Jiang Chen said, revealing his and the Tian Pang evil emperor's thoughts. Upon hearing this, Tian Lingyu's face revealed a look of ecstasy. She looked at Xiao Wangqing expectantly. She had been waiting for this day for too long. She didn't expect that the opportunity would really come today. I'm willing. Xiao Wangqing agreed without hesitation. He was willing to do anything for Tian Lingyu. He wasn't even afraid of death, let alone joining the demonic immortal island. Moreover, he was a loner. It didn't matter where he was. The demonic immortal island was the largest island in the ocean. Its strength was strong enough to compete with the immortal court. It wouldn't be a disgrace to him to join the demonic immortal island. As long as he could be with Tian Lingyu, it would be his greatest wish. There was no loss for him to stay on the demonic immortal island. All right. Since you agree, you will be a member of the demonic immortal island from now on. I will personally host your wedding in a few days. Tian Pang evil emperor said. Thank you, Daddy. Tian Lingyu knelt on the ground with a thud. Tears streamed down her cheeks. She had never dreamt that this day would come. AI. It's been more than 300 years. I finally hear you call me daddy again. Good. Tianpeng Evil Emperor sighed. At this moment, it seemed as though the grudge between him and Tian Lingyu had been completely eliminated. The deep affection between father and daughter had returned. Thank you, Demon Sovereign. Xiao Wangqing hastily saluted. What? Still not going to change your words? Tianpeng Evil Emperor glared at Xiao Wangqing. Yes, father-in-law. Xiao Wangqing's face was filled with ecstasy. He turned and approached Jiang Chen. Without saying a word, he cupped his fists at Jiang Chen. He would never be able to repay Jiang Chen's kindness for the rest of his life. He knew very well that it was all thanks to Jiang Chen that they could have such a happy ending today. He had no idea how Jiang Chen and Tianpeng Evil Emperor became so close all of a sudden, but in his heart, Jiang Chen had undoubtedly created another miracle. He was an enigmatic man with a special charm that even Tianpeng Evil Emperor was attracted to. Haha, great. Today is the birthday of my heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign, and I've solved one of my worries. This is double happiness. Let's go. Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign laughed heartily. With a wave of his sleeve, the Myriad Wind Grand Formation around the Myriad Wind platform disappeared all of a sudden. The scene that was originally filled with whistling gales suddenly became extremely quiet. Since Tian Lingyu had regained her freedom, there was no need for the Myriad Wind Grand Formation to exist anymore. Tianpeng Evil Emperor flew out of the Myriad Wind platform with Jiang Chen, Xiao Wangqing, and Tian Lingyu and came to the high platform. Seeing that Tianpeng Evil Emperor didn't move, everyone felt that the scene had changed again. Everyone was back on the demonic immortal square. At this moment, everyone present was confused. They only saw Jiang Chen breaking through the Myriad Wind Formation with Xiao Wangqing. As for what happened on the Myriad Wind platform, they didn't know because of the Myriad Wind Formation. At this moment, all eyes fell on the high platform. They knew that Tianpeng Evil Emperor must have something to say. Is that the Saintess of Demonic Immortal Island? She's really devastatingly beautiful. She's indeed a peerless beauty. I heard that she was imprisoned for more than 300 years. I didn't expect that she would be released today and the Myriad Wind Formation would disappear. It seems that Tianpeng Evil Emperor is going to change his original intention. But the rules of Demonic Immortal Island will definitely not change. I wonder how Tianpeng Evil Emperor will deal with Xiao Wangqing. Chapter 1980. The Saintess has finally come out. I'm so touched. I wonder how much she has suffered in the past 300 years. That's right. Jiang Chen has brought Xiao Wangqing through the Myriad Wind Grand Formation. It seems like he has touched Demon Sovereign's heart. The Saintess is finally free. We're very happy. Don't be too happy yet. Demon Sovereign hasn't said anything yet. I wonder how he's going to deal with it. When the people of the Demonic Immortal Island saw the Saintess, their emotions fluctuated greatly. Obviously, the Saintess had a very good reputation in the Demonic Immortal Island. In the hearts of countless people, the Saintess was too pitiful. If the Saintess could escape from the abyss of suffering one day, they would be happy for her. Ladies and gentlemen, I have 2 announcements to make. Tianpeng Evil Emperor spoke in a loud voice that was loud enough for everyone to hear. First, Xiao Wangqing will officially join our Demonic Immortal Island from now on. He will marry my daughter Tian Lingyu 3 days later. Since you've all arrived, please stay in the island for 3 more days. Your congratulatory gifts will also be their wedding gift. Tianpeng Evil Emperor said. Haha, great. The Saintess and Xiao Wangqing have finally come to fruition. Congratulations, Demon Sovereign. Double happiness has come to you. Congratulations. Congratulations. This is truly something worth congratulating. Everyone began to congratulate Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign. As a matter of fact, they had already guessed the result from the moment Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign withdrew the Myriad Wind Grand Formation and brought Xiao Wangqing and Tian Lingyu to the platform. Although there were rules in the Demonic Immortal Island, everything would be in order if Xiao Wangqing joined the island. Of course, although there were many people who congratulated Xiao Wangqing, there were also people who were in a bad mood. The 3 immortal courts were in such a situation. Their faces were incomparably unsightly, especially Qin Xianbing and Qiu Chenyun. They were figures of the same generation as Xiao Wangqing and had many conflicts with each other. Now that Xiao Wangqing had become the son-in-law of Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign, his status had skyrocketed. Damn it! This bastard is really lucky to become the son-in-law of Tian Peng Evil Emperor. He's really lucky. He was supposed to die, but now he has soared to the sky. Qiu Chenyun and Qin Xianbing spoke gloomily, not concealing their jealousy. Demon Sovereign, the wedding of the Saintess is a joyous day. Since we're here, we naturally have to attend it. May I know what's the second announcement? Someone asked. The second announcement is that I and Jiang Chen will become sworn brothers in front of everyone. Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign announced in a loud and clear voice. This news was like a heavy bomb that exploded in everyone's ears like a bolt from the blue, causing their ears to buzz. What? Countless people exclaimed, especially the people of the 3 immortal courts. They stood up from their seats, as though they hadn't heard what Tianpeng Evil Emperor had said. Come on, Brother Chen. Tianpeng Evil Emperor said, kneeling down on one knee. Jiang Chen lifted his robe with one hand and kneeled down on one knee as well. The two of them became sworn brothers on the high platform in front of countless people. This was a ceremony that shocked the whole world. Everyone knew that Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign wasn't joking when they saw the ceremony on the high platform. Everyone knew that Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign was serious. My God! How is this possible? That kid is merely an intermediate immortal venerable. Even if he has the ability to break through the myriad wind grand formation with the Great Void technique, he isn't worthy enough for Tianpeng Evil Emperor to become sworn brothers. They're really sworn brothers. This is the biggest ceremony. Tianpeng Evil Emperor is serious. That kid is really lucky. I really don't know how he managed to become sworn brothers with Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Tianpeng Evil Emperor is a proud and aloof person. Even if the Sovereign Lord comes personally, Tianpeng Evil Emperor won't become sworn brothers with him. What's wrong with this world? What's so attractive about Jiang Chen? He's really lucky. After becoming sworn brothers with Tianpeng Evil Emperor, who would dare to bully him? He's the brother of Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Everyone couldn't accept it, but the fact that the two of them had become sworn brothers had become a fact. Everyone knew that Jiang Chen's value would increase countless times from now on. Anyone who wanted to kill Jiang Chen would have to think twice before doing so. The disciple of Dragon Hall of Fengqi Immortal Court and the sworn brother of Tianpeng Evil Emperor of Demonic Immortal Island. There were 2 unshakable mountains behind him. It wasn't a joke to make Jiang Chen an enemy. The faces of the experts of the 3 immortal courts darkened to the extreme. Lan Xian and Tan Jinya had begun to gnash their teeth. Such a blow was just too great for them. First, Xiao Wangqing had become the son-in-law of Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Now, Jiang Chen had become the sworn brother of Tianpeng Evil Emperor. How the hell were they going to deal with this? There was no doubt that Jiang Chen had become the biggest winner in the Demonic Immortal Island's birthday ceremony. Yu Huafan, who had been sitting in his seat, was completely dumbfounded at this moment. He had never thought that such a thing would happen. What the fuck? What kind of magic did junior brother Jiang use to become sworn brothers with Tianpeng Evil Emperor? Yu Huafan couldn't imagine what had happened between Jiang Chen and Tianpeng Evil Emperor, but he was sure that it must be something big. At the same time, Yu Huafan was extremely excited. In any case, Jiang Chen was also a disciple of Fengqi Immortal Court. Not only would his identity and status skyrocket by becoming sworn brothers with Tianpeng Evil Emperor, the relationship between Immortal Court and Demonic Immortal Island had also been established. In other words, Yu Huafan and Jiang Chen had made a great contribution in this trip to Demonic Immortal Island. They would definitely be rewarded when they returned to the Immortal Court. De Huang Dog smiled without saying a word. He didn't expect that Tianpeng Evil Emperor and Jiang Chen would become sworn brothers, but he wasn't surprised. No one knew about the relationship between Tianpeng Evil Emperor and Void Sovereign, but he was very clear about it. From the change of Tianpeng Evil Emperor's attitude towards Jiang Chen, it could be seen that Tianpeng Evil Emperor was a man who valued friendship and righteousness. On the high platform, the ceremony of becoming sworn brothers had ended. Jiang Chen and Tianpeng Evil Emperor stood up at the same time. For Jiang Chen, it was his luck to become sworn brothers with Tianpeng Evil Emperor, but for Tianpeng Evil Emperor, it was a wish fulfilled. Hung Long. At this moment, a huge rumble suddenly resounded from the interior of the Demonic Immortal Island. The entire island trembled violently and the ground trembled. What's going on? What happened? The sudden tremor immediately attracted everyone's attention. Even Tianpeng Evil Emperor couldn't figure out what was going on. Demon Sovereign, it's coming from the ancestral grave. Chapter 1981. Honglong. The tremor was louder than before. Tianpeng Evil Emperor's expression changed. The demonic immortal island had existed for countless years, but there had never been such a commotion in the ancestral grave. Let's go and have a look. After saying that, Tianpeng Evil Emperor disappeared in a flash. The ancestral grave of the demonic immortal island was where the ancestors were buried. It was an important place of the demonic immortal island. Normally, no one would come close to it. Such a huge commotion in Tianpeng Evil Emperor's birthday ceremony had alarmed everyone on the island. Everyone, something unexpected has happened in the demonic immortal island. Please calm down. The Blue Wolf Demonic Emperor said and flew towards the ancestral grave. What's going on? The huge commotion seems to be coming from the ancestral grave of the demonic immortal island. The ancestors of the demonic immortal island are buried there. Those who haven't reached the great sovereign realm are not qualified to be buried in the ancestral grave. I don't know what's going on, but it's not a trivial matter for Tianpeng Evil Emperor to be so moved. Let's go and have a look. All right. Since we have nothing else to do, let's go and have a look. The demonic immortal island is too lively this time. Too many things have happened, one after another. The people on the demonic immortal square couldn't keep calm anymore. This birthday ceremony was destined to be chaotic. First, it was Jiang Chen and Xiao Wangqing. Now, there was a change in the ancestral grave. It was impossible for them to enjoy the peace of the demonic immortal island. A large number of people followed the people of the demonic immortal island towards the ancestral grave. They had to attend Xiao Wangqing's wedding 3 days later. Since they couldn't leave for the time being, they had to go and see what was going on. Moreover, the major event of the demonic immortal island was worthy of the attention of all the people in the immortal world. Jiang Chen, Xiao Wangqing and Tian Lingyu exchanged a glance and followed. Yu Huafan and a Huang dog came to Jiang Chen's side. Junior brother Jiang, tell me, how did you do it? Yu Huafan asked. He was really curious and wanted to know what was going on. If he didn't ask, he might go crazy. We just have similar interests. Jiang Chen shrugged. He couldn't tell them the real reason. It was Tianpeng Evil Emperor's secret. All right. Yu Huafan was speechless. Only a ghost would believe such a reason. However, since Jiang Chen didn't want to say it, he must have his reasons. Therefore, he didn't ask further. In any case, it was a great thing for Jiang Chen to befriend the Tianpeng Evil Emperor. It was a good thing for Jiang Chen and the Fengqi Immortal Court. De Huang dog gazed in the direction of the ancestral grave in a daze. He didn't say a word during the whole process. He didn't even congratulate Xiao Wangqing. He seemed to be preoccupied with something. Upon seeing this, Jiang Chen couldn't help but shake his head. There must be something wrong with this dog. This wasn't his style at all. He couldn't help but speculate that Big Yellow had a certain relationship with the demonic immortal island. From the moment he arrived at the ocean, he had been preoccupied with something. However, Jiang Chen didn't press him. He knew De Huang dog very well. If De Huang didn't want to tell him, it would be useless even if he asked. Everyone had moved from the demonic immortal square to a place closer to the ancestral grave. No one knew what had happened, but they knew that it must be a big deal. The ancestral grave of the demonic immortal island was a black pagoda. The pagoda seemed to have dozens of floors, towering into the clouds. The area around the pagoda was sealed off. The atmosphere here was obviously oppressive and lifeless. This was the super important place of the demonic immortal island. No one dared to violate its majesty. Usually, except for the Tianpeng Evil Emperor, no one could come here without permission. Not even Blue Wolf Demon Emperor. According to the demonic immortal island, there was the ancestral soul of the demonic immortal island. The ancestral soul was supreme. Those who could be buried in the Black Pagoda were those who had made outstanding contributions to the demonic immortal island. Honglong. A huge rumbling sound rang out again. Everyone could see that this rumbling sound came from the Black Tower, and the Black Tower was visibly shaking. Lord Demon Emperor, there has never been such a big movement in the ancestral grave since it was built. Is it related to that monkey? Blue Wolf Demon Emperor said with a frown. It must be related to him. Tianping Evil Emperor said with certainty. At this moment, Jiang Chen and the others had arrived at the side of Tianping Evil Emperor. He had just become sworn brothers with Tianping Evil Emperor. Now, he was the most important person in the entire demonic immortal island. Therefore, Jiang Chen could walk in front of Tianping Evil Emperor at will. No one dared to stop him. Even Blue Wolf Demon Emperor had to greet Jiang Chen with a smile. After all, Jiang Chen's current status was very different from before. Lan Xian and the others could only watch Jiang Chen walk to the side of Tianping Evil Emperor. They could only watch from afar, not daring to approach the ancestral grave of the demonic immortal island. This was the gap between them. Monkey? What monkey? Jiang Chen was shocked. He couldn't keep calm when he heard the word monkey. In this world, there might not be a second powerful monkey. Brother Jiang Chen, you might not know this, but not long ago, a young man appeared overseas. When he approached the demonic immortal island, the ancestral grave of the demonic immortal island, which had been silent for countless years, suddenly had a huge movement. A ray of light flew out from the top of the black tower and fell on the young man. Then, the light brought the young man into the black tower. During this period of time, we all wanted to find out the truth, but we didn't dare to enter the black tower for fear of alarming the ancestral spirit. Blue Wolf Demon Emperor said. Now that Jiang Chen had become sworn brothers with Tianping Evil Emperor, he naturally had to change the way he addressed Jiang Chen. Whether Jiang Chen was willing or not, they could only address each other as peers. What's the relationship between the young man and the monkey? Jiang Chen asked. Lord Demon Emperor could tell at a glance that the young man is not a human. He has a powerful holy ape bloodline in his body. Moreover, if he was a human, he wouldn't have caused such a stir in our ancestral spirit. Blue Wolf Demon Emperor said. Monkey. Jiang Chen and a Huang dog exclaimed almost at the same time. In this world, there might not be a second person with a powerful holy ape bloodline. Brother Blue Wolf, what does the young man look like? In order to confirm the identity of Long San, Jiang Chen continued to ask. He looks to be about the same age as you. He's wearing a yellow robe and has a handsome appearance. Oh, by the way, the most obvious feature is his black and white hair. Blue Wolf Demon Emperor said. It must be 13. This guy went to someone's ancestral grave. Jiang Chen shook his head speechlessly. The features that Blue Wolf Demon Emperor mentioned could only be Long San. Chapter 1982. After rescuing the Huang dog from the desolate ancient land, Jiang Chen went to the Xueqi immortal domain and parted ways with Long San. Long San said that he was going to look for something he needed. It seemed that he had gone overseas. Long San's bloodline must have been too powerful, which alarmed the ancestral spirit in the Black Pagoda. That's why there was such a huge movement and sucked Long San into it. Now that the Black Pagoda was shaking again, it must have something to do with Jiang Chen. In the beginning, Jiang Chen didn't pay much attention to the situation in the ancestral grave of demonic immortal island. After all, it was an internal affair of demonic immortal island. However, the situation was different now that Long San was involved. He couldn't help but pay attention to the development of the situation. Whether Long San had obtained great benefits or was in great danger, Jiang Chen didn't know. Brother Chen, do you know that monkey? Tianping Evil Emperor looked at Jiang Chen. Big brother, the monkey is called Long San. He and I are sworn brothers. He was born from a spiritual stone and possesses the complete bloodline of a battle saint ape. He's extremely powerful. When we parted ways, I went to the immortal court of Xueqi immortal domain and he went overseas. I didn't expect that he would enter your ancestral grave. If I'm not wrong, the ancestral spirit of demonic immortal island must be shaken because of Long San's powerful bloodline. Jiang Chen said. He didn't need to hide anything from Tianping Evil Emperor. Long San had intruded into someone else's ancestral grave, which was a great disrespect. Jiang Chen was worried that Tianping Evil Emperor would slap Long San to death. Therefore, he explained the relationship between Long San and Long San. At least Long San's safety could be guaranteed. Little brother Chen, you're freakish enough as it is. Even the people you make friends with are freakish. Tianping Evil Emperor said with a smile. At first, I didn't understand why a ray of light suddenly appeared in the ancestral grave and fell on the young man. Now I understand a little. The complete bloodline of the battle saint ape is really powerful. It's the most powerful existence in the entire demonic immortal island. I just don't know what's happening in the Black Tower. I hope your brother won't do anything to harm the demonic immortal island. Hearing this, Jiang Chen broke out in a cold sweat. If Long San really destroyed the ancestral graves of the demonic immortal island, the consequences would be severe. He really didn't know how to deal with it. Lord Demon God, the commotion is getting bigger and bigger. What should we do now? Blue Wolf Demon God asked. As one of the higher-ups of the demonic immortal island, he was very anxious about such a big accident in the ancestral graves. There's nothing we can do but wait. Long San didn't break in by himself. I believe it's the will of the ancestor's soul. Since it's the will of the ancestor's soul, we shouldn't act rashly. Let's wait and see. We'll know the results soon, Tianpeng Evil Emperor said with a calm face. At his cultivation level, his mind was very strong and he could remain calm in everything. Jiang Chen was still very worried. He secretly cast the Great Divination Art to see if Long San would be in danger. The Great Divination Art was unparalleled in the world. It was almost impossible to cultivate it to the highest level. It was already very amazing for Jiang Chen to cultivate it until now. Not long after, the Great Divination Art had some clues. According to the calculation of the Great Divination Art, Long San wouldn't be in danger this time. Instead, it was a great opportunity. This made Jiang Chen secretly heave a sigh of relief. But at the same time that he heaved a sigh of relief, Jiang Chen had also deduced something else. The matter of the ancestral burial mound this time might bring about quite a bit of turmoil and trouble. It was a pity that Jiang Chen couldn't predict the specifics. However, it was already good enough that he could calculate that Long San wasn't in danger. What Jiang Chen needed to do now was to wait quietly like Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Hung Long. The movement of the Black Tower was getting bigger and bigger. The shaking was very obvious, as if a huge amount of energy was constantly coming out from the inside. It gave people a feeling that the Black Tower would collapse at any time. Rumble. Suddenly, a violent rumble sounded again. Everyone saw an extremely bright and dazzling golden beam of light rushing out from the top of the Black Tower. The golden beam of light seemed to carry an extremely violent energy as it directly lifted the top of the Black Tower. The ancestral graves exploded. That's right, the top of the Black Tower was lifted off. For the demonic immortal island, it meant that the ancestral graves exploded. The Black Tower of the demonic immortal island was the ancestral graves. Since its establishment, there had been no traces of it. Today, it was directly hit by an internal energy and the top was lifted off. For the entire demonic immortal island, this was really a big event. Accompanied by the golden light, a violent ape with golden light all over its body rushed out of the Black Tower. The violent ape was 30 meters tall and extremely majestic. It held a bright iron staff in its hand and its eyes were blooming with infinite colors. After the violent ape appeared, it was full of violent chi. It stood in the air above the Black Tower and roared at the sky. Roar, roar. The violent ape roared incessantly. Powerful waves of chi overflowed in all directions, shaking the void to the point that it was about to be torn apart. The violent chi emitted from its body was frightening. Monkey! Jiang Chen shouted and immediately discovered that Long San was abnormal. At this moment, Long San was in a completely violent state. It seemed that he had even lost his mind. His body seemed to bear the burden of endless flames, suppressing endless anger and resentment. That's right, it was resentment. The resentment seemed to have existed for countless years and it was difficult to release it. Not good, that's not the monkey's resentment. It's forced on him by an outsider. Jiang Chen knew that this wasn't good. To his horror, Dragon San was almost controlled by the powerful resentment. He had completely turned into a berserk violent ape. What's that? How could such a big guy appear in the ancestral graves of the demonic immortal island? It's a powerful holy ape with an extremely rare bloodline. However, the holy ape seems to be in a violent state now. This violent ape caused the ancestral graves of the demonic immortal island to explode. The demonic immortal island will definitely not let him go. This is a great disrespect to the demonic immortal island. Everyone was shocked. Countless eyes fell on Long San. Qiu Qianyun, Qin Xianbing, and the other two looked at Long San differently because they felt a sense of familiarity. However, because the dragon was too violent at this moment, they did not associate it with Long San for a while. Chapter 1983. Roar, roar. Long Shan went completely berserk. His eyes were filled with powerful resentment. He roared incessantly, and his body began to emit a murderous aura. Jiang Chen noticed that Long Shan was already at the peak of the first-grade demon sovereign. In such a short period of time, his cultivation had reached such a shocking level. It was conceivable that Long Shan must have obtained great benefits in the Black Tower, which was why his cultivation could reach such a terrifying level in such a short period of time. However, the current situation also confirmed the result that Jiang Chen had deduced with a great divination art. It was true that Long Shan had obtained a fortuitous encounter, but he would still face a lot of troubles. The powerful resentment that was added to his body for no reason was the biggest variable. Monkey! Jiang Chen shouted at Long Shan. Long Shan, who was originally in a berserk state, immediately turned his gaze over when he heard the shout. When he saw Jiang Chen, his sharp gaze obviously eased up. Little Chenzi! Long Shan shouted Jiang Chen's name with a slightly hoarse voice. However, Jiang Chen heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. In any case, although Long Shan was added with powerful resentment, he did not completely lose his mind. At least, he could still recognize Jiang Chen, which was the best-case scenario. De Huang, what should we do? Jiang Chen looked at De Huang Dog. De Huang Dog was, after all, the reincarnation of demon sovereign Long Yang, so he knew a lot of things. Jiang Chen still had to ask De Huang for help at the crucial moment. However, after Jiang Chen asked, he realized that De Huang Dog didn't reply. He didn't move at all. Jiang Chen looked over and found that De Huang Dog was looking at Long Shan in the sky. From his eyes, Jiang Chen could feel that De Huang Dog's heart was in turmoil. What the hell is this dog doing? Jiang Chen frowned. De Huang must have something on his mind. Jiang Chen was almost certain that De Huang Dog had a deep relationship with the demonic immortal island. Otherwise, such a situation wouldn't have happened. Lord Demon Emperor, this is the holy ape that entered the ancestral tomb. Now that it has jumped out, what should we do? He seems to be in a berserk state right now. Should we kill him? Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign said. Don't. Jiang Chen quickly stopped him. Big brother, the monkey must have been controlled by your ancestor's soul. Otherwise, there wouldn't be such a strong resentment. Big brother Blue Wolf also said that he was brought into the Black Tower by the light emitted by your ancestor's soul. He didn't break in by himself. He's innocent. He was most worried that the experts of the demonic immortal island would take action. If that happened, Long Shan's life would be in danger. After all, the current situation was enough for the experts of the demonic immortal island to take action. Although Long Shan had advanced to the first-grade demon sovereign realm, such cultivation was nothing in the demonic immortal island. If Tianpeng Evil Emperor wanted to kill Long Shan would be killed without a doubt. Blue Wolf, control him first. Don't hurt him. Tianpeng Evil Emperor said to Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign. Jiang Chen looked at Tianpeng Evil Emperor with eyes full of gratitude. He knew that Tianpeng Evil Emperor would probably kill Long Shan directly. But now, Tianpeng Evil Emperor specially instructed Blue Wolf not to hurt Long Shan. All right. Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign's aura fluctuated. Suddenly, he stretched out a terrifying wolf claw and shrouded Long Shan. The terrifying chi wave of a third-grade demon sovereign wreaked havoc, causing the sky and earth to change color. The Blue Wolf Beast Emperor acted decisively. The ancestral grave had already been destroyed, and he didn't want a tyrannical holy ape to cause another big accident in the ancestral grave. No matter what the holy ape experienced in the Black Tower, or why it entered, the most important thing now was to calm down this turmoil. As long as he controlled Long Shan, the storm would subside. The rest would be the internal affairs of the demonic immortal island. Roar! Unexpectedly, Long Shan's violent chi became more intense when he saw someone attacking him. Two flames shot out from his fiery golden eyes. Then, Long Shan raised his huge iron rod and smashed it towards Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign's wolf claw. Hung Long! A terrifying impact spread out. Under the impact of the iron rod, the wolf claw was instantly shattered. Long Shan's huge body didn't even move a bit after suffering the attack of a third-grade demon sovereign, let alone suffering any damage. What? Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign exclaimed. He looked at Long Shan in disbelief. He was a powerful third-grade demon sovereign, but he couldn't cause any damage to Longshan even with such a terrifying cultivation base. His body was greatly shaken by the impact just now. As expected of a battle saint ape. His bloodline is much stronger than mine. Even if he's just a first-grade demon sovereign, he can still fight against me. Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign sighed. He looked at Tianpeng Evil Emperor and Jiang Chen, unable to conceal his astonishment. Big Brother Blue Wolf, this monkey's combat strength is extremely terrifying. With his cultivation base at the peak of first-grade demon sovereign, I'm afraid that ordinary third-grade demon sovereigns are no match for him. Jiang Chen said, this violent ape is so powerful. He can actually fight against Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign. This is heaven-defying. The bloodline of the violent ape is too powerful. In today's era, such a bloodline doesn't exist anymore. Even the bloodline of Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign isn't on the same level as the violent ape. It seems like the strength of the demon race's bloodline is very important. I'm afraid that Tianpeng Evil Emperor is going to take action soon. This is a serious matter. He must put an end to this storm. Not everyone was shocked. A first-grade demon sovereign was able to fight against a third-grade demon sovereign without falling into a disadvantageous position. This alone was enough to prove that Violent Ape was a powerful and monstrous genius. What a freak! Yu Huafan sighed. He looked at Jiang Chen and felt somewhat depressed. Jiang Chen was already a freak. Now, even the person he befriended was so heaven-defying. This made him speechless. I'll take action personally, Tianpeng Evil Emperor said in a deep voice. At this moment, he didn't want to waste any more time. He decided to take action personally and control this tyrannical saint ape. He would deal with the rest later. Tianpeng Evil Emperor moved. He transformed a giant palm into a wide cage, shrouding Longshan. Stop. Chapter 1984. This voice that suddenly appeared was like a ghost in the endless darkness. It was just 2 words, but it actually made people feel a chill run down their spines. Tianpeng Evil Emperor, who had already made his move, quickly withdrew his attack. His facial expression changed dramatically. The voice came from the ancestral grave. It must be the ancestor's soul of the demonic immortal island. Everyone held their breath. No one spoke. Only Longshan's roar could be heard. Everyone's eyes fell on the top of the Black Tower. If the ancestor's soul of the demonic immortal island was resurrected, it would definitely be a big event. Everyone knew that the ancestral grave of the demonic immortal island had buried a truly powerful expert, a peerless demon emperor. Under the gaze of countless people, a white smoke rose from the Black Tower. The smoke floated above Longshan's head. In the center of the smoke, there was a looming figure. It was a beautiful woman in a white dress. Her blue hair was particularly eye-catching. The woman seemed to be in her 30s. Her eyes were empty and her body carried endless resentment. This is not the awakening of the ancestor's soul. It's an incarnation of resentment. She's not a real person. Jiang Chen said. He could see at a glance that the woman in front of him was definitely not a real person. It was possible that her real body had died countless years ago, but her resentment was not extinguished and eventually formed into an incarnation of resentment. What shocked Jiang Chen was how much resentment this woman had. She had died countless years ago and could still appear in the form of resentment. It's the first-generation saintess. Yes, I've seen the portrait of the first-generation saintess. This is the first-generation saintess. What's going on? Isn't the saintess dead? Back then, the saintess was abandoned by a foreign man. She was disheartened and died of depression. I didn't expect that her resentment was not extinguished and remained until now. The people of the demonic immortal island exclaimed. All of them had seen the portrait of the first-generation saintess. Although the restrictions of the demonic immortal island didn't say anything about the first-generation saintess, the people of the demonic immortal island were well aware of it. They had discussed it in private, but because of the passage of time, many people had forgotten about it. But today, the first-generation saintess had appeared again. People couldn't help but recall the past, but no one had expected that the saintess' resentment would be so great. Tianpeng greets ancestor. Tianpeng Evil Emperor bowed deeply to the first-generation saintess. After all, the first-generation saintess had been around for a long time. Even someone like Tianpeng Evil Emperor had to address her as ancestor. The eyes of the first-generation saintess were cold. She didn't even look at Tianpeng Evil Emperor. The Saintess glanced around. Her eyes fell on the geniuses of the 9 immortal courts and the demonic immortal island. Then she said, "I'll give a fortune to whoever defeats this saint ape today." Frah, frah. As soon as the first-generation female emperor's voice faded, Long Shan roared again. His body was filled with terrifying killing intent. What the hell? Jiang Chen frowned. He couldn't figure out what the Saintess was trying to do. She's formed from the remnant resentment. She's going to use Long Shan to release her resentment, and the best way to do so is to kill. Once the resentment is completely released, Long Shan will return to normal. De Huang Dog spoke. His eyes had never left the Saintess ever since the first-generation Saintess appeared. The Saintess died of depression in the past, and her resentment didn't dissipate. This is her greatest regret. If this method can be used to eliminate the Saintess' resentment, she will be able to rest in peace. Otherwise, the resentment will grow stronger and stronger until she turns into a terrifying vengeful spirit. Given her strength, I'm afraid that it's the end of the world for the immortal world. Tianpeng Evil Emperor said in a solemn tone. He's right. De Huang Dog nodded. No one knew better than him how terrifying the first-generation Saintess was. Once she turned into a vengeful spirit, the consequences would be unimaginable. The first-generation Saintess has such a strong resentment. But it said that she was a powerful 8th-grade demon sovereign when she was alive. I wonder what she's going to do after such a long time. That violent ape seems to be controlled by the Saintess. It's filled with killing intent. It won't be easy to deal with it. Why don't we give it a try? The Saintess' words will never be false. This is a good opportunity. If we can defeat that violent ape, the Saintess will be giving us a great fortune. The surrounding people were getting restless. There would always be people who were willing to take the risk in the face of great temptation. Who wants to fight me? Dragon Shan flew up into the sky. His body started to change and he turned into a human. His black and white hair had almost become his trademark. His fiery golden eyes were like 2 scorching suns that people wouldn't dare to look at directly. Long Shan, Qin Xianbing exclaimed. He immediately recognized Long Shan when he saw his human form. What? He's the Long Shan who killed so many geniuses of our immortal court? Damn it! This bastard has grown to such an extent. It seems like I have to take action today. He's being controlled by the Saintess' resentment. He's just a tool for the Saintess to release her resentment. If I kill him now, I'll be able to obtain a great fortune from the Saintess and soar to the sky. Strong killing intent burst out from Lan Xian's body. When he heard that the Saintess was going to give him a great fortune, he already had the thought of killing Long Shan. After confirming the opponent's identity, he was even more determined. Long Shan was the same as Jiang Chen. Both of them were enemies of the immortal court. Getting rid of them as soon as possible would save the immortal court from future troubles. Furthermore, despite Long Shan's powerful performance, he was still a first-grade demon sovereign after all. Lan Xian was a level higher than Long Shan. It wouldn't be a problem for him to kill Long Shan with his full strength. Jiang Chen frowned. In any case, he was worried about Long Shan's current state. Although Long Shan could still maintain his consciousness, he was carrying the Saintess' resentment. His role now was to help the Saintess release the resentment. In other words, he was almost under the Saintess' control. Anyone can fight. Life and death are determined by fate. Whoever defeats or kills the Saint Ape will obtain my inheritance. The voice of the Saintess of the first generation resounded once more. Her words were like magic. The fortune left behind by an 8th-grade demon sovereign was enough to drive countless people crazy. Big brother, what should we do now? Jiang Chen looked over at Tianpeng Evil Emperor. According to the Saintess, we must let her release her resentment. Otherwise, once she leaves this place, the consequences will be severe. Furthermore, this Saint Ape must have obtained the Saintess' inheritance. Otherwise, it's impossible for his cultivation base to improve so much in such a short period of time. The Saintess has given the Saintess resentment to him, indicating that she has faith in his strength. Chapter 1985. He's right. Monkey has already obtained the Saintess' inheritance. However, the Saintess has her own selfish motives. She wants to use Long Shan to vent her resentment. Therefore, when Long Shan strikes, he will kill. Let's see which unlucky bastard is willing to step forward. De Huang Dog said. Jiang Chen noticed that De Huang Dog's eyes had never left the Saintess ever since she appeared. It seems like there's going to be a bloody storm today. Regardless of whether the Saintess is selfish or not, given Monkey's current combat strength, it won't be a problem for him to deal with all the geniuses here. Jiang Chen said. He was very confident in Long Shersan's strength. The powerful Battle Saint Ape and the Battle Saint technique were almost invincible in the world. The most powerful genius on the scene was only a peak second-grade Great Sovereign. None of them were third-grade Great Sovereigns. Long Shersan was currently a peak first-grade Demon Sovereign. In addition to the fact that he was in a berserk state, it wouldn't be difficult for him to deal with any of them. At least, his life wouldn't be in danger. Even so, Jiang Chen was still incomparably worried. What he was worried about wasn't Long Shersan's strength or the genius disciples of the Immortal Court, but the Saintess herself. Although the Saintess had passed her inheritance to Long Shersan, causing Long Shersan's cultivation base to advance by leaps and bounds, there was a purpose behind it. To put it bluntly, in the Saintess' eyes, Long Shersan was merely a tool to help her vent her anger. What Jiang Chen was most worried about was the resentment that had been accumulated for countless years. If Long Shersan couldn't fully release it, it would hurt Long Shersan in the end, or even cause Long Shersan to lose his mind. However, Jiang Chen could only worry about the current situation, because he couldn't do anything to help. Not to mention him, even the most powerful Tianping Evil Emperor couldn't do anything in this situation. The Saintess was his ancestor. Even if she was just a trace of resentment, Tianping Evil Emperor still had to show respect to her. De Huang, do you know this Saintess? Jiang Chen transmitted his voice to De Huang and asked curiously. However, De Huang Dog didn't answer Jiang Chen. Ever since they entered the demonic immortal island, De Huang Dog had been acting mysteriously. Jiang Chen asked, "AI, why did the Saintess choose Monkey? I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing for Monkey." Jiang Chen couldn't help sighing. At this time, he couldn't even calm down and use the great divination art to calculate the situation. Because she was the first to discover the wondrous rocks. De Huang Dog said. What? Jiang Chen's eyes widened and he almost exclaimed. Only now did he recall that the wondrous rock that gave birth to Long Shersan had existed in the space where the Immortal Execution Order and Immortal Burying Coffin had been found. This meant that the wondrous rock had existed since a long time ago. What he didn't expect was that the first Saintess was the first to discover the wondrous rock. Jiang Chen finally understood why the Saintess' resentment had been suppressed for so long, and why it erupted the moment Long Shersan appeared overseas. This dog must know a lot of secrets. He and the Saintess must know each other. That bastard just won't tell me. Jiang Chen wished he could crawl up to De Huang Dog and bite him. However, since De Huang Dog wasn't willing to tell him, it was useless for Jiang Chen to force him. All he could do now was to wait, or to watch a good show. Regardless of the outcome, at least Long Shersan was now a first-grade demon sovereign. Such a huge improvement was, after all, a good thing. As for what would happen next, it was up to Heaven's will. Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign turned his body and said to everyone present in a loud and clear voice, "Geniuses of the immortal world, according to our ancestors' words, all of you are free to deal with the violent ape. As long as you can defeat the violent ape or kill him, not only will you obtain the fortune of our ancestor, I will also give you a great reward. The winner of this birthday banquet is allowed to choose one of the congratulatory gifts." Hua! As soon as Tianping Evil Emperor's voice faded, the scene was in an uproar. Countless tyrannical chi were fluctuating, carrying terrifying battle intent. The geniuses who were hesitant were now eager to give it a try. The fortune of an 8th-grade demon sovereign and the gift from Tianping Evil Emperor was too tempting. They didn't know what the Saintess' fortune was, but they knew all too well about those gifts. If they could get any of them, they would gain tremendous benefits. It wouldn't be a problem for them to break through to the 3rd-grade Great Sovereign realm, not to mention that they were allowed to choose any of the gifts. Jiang Chen felt very helpless. Tianping Evil Emperor's action had undoubtedly pushed Long Shersan to the teeth of the storm, but Jiang Chen understood why Tianping Evil Emperor did this. He had to eliminate the Saintess' resentment as that was the most important thing. Tianping Evil Emperor wouldn't hesitate even if he could get the other immortal courts as a result. But once you take action, your life and death will be determined by fate. If you die in the hands of the violent ape, you can only blame your own incompetence. Tianping Evil Emperor spoke loudly again. The next battle would definitely be a battle of life and death. Just like what Jiang Chen had said, Long Shan was very powerful. If he killed the peerless geniuses of the immortal courts, wouldn't the immortal courts be in a bad mood? Therefore, Tianping Evil Emperor had said that they were willing to take action, and wouldn't be forced to do so. They couldn't blame others if they died. Big brother, don't let the geniuses of the demonic immortal island take action, Jiang Chen reminded. He was thinking for the sake of the geniuses of the demonic immortal island. It was a stupid thing to fight a life-and-death battle with Long Shan. All right. Blue Wolf, go and arrange for the geniuses of the demonic immortal island to stay calm. Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign instructed Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign. This kind of thing had to be done. After all, it was related to the fortune gifted by the first-generation Saintess. As a genius of the demonic immortal island, he didn't want to give such fortune to others. Who wants to fight? Long Shan stood in the air, his black and white hair fluttering in the wind. His face was resolute and the iron staff in his hand had disappeared. Jiang Chen knew that although Long Shan was affected by the resentment of the Saintess, his mind was still clear. Long Shan, I'll kill you. A loud shout was heard. A blue light whizzed out and appeared in front of Long Shan in the blink of an eye. It was none other than Lan Xian. The immortal courts of ethereal immortal domain had suffered a great loss this time. Lan Xian was the only one left. He had been feeling very depressed all along. Initially, he thought that he could get rid of Jiang Chen with the help of the myriad wind grand formation, but he didn't expect that Jiang Chen would become sworn brothers with Jiang Chen and Tianping Evil Emperor. Chapter 1986. Lan Xian made his move. Countless eyes fell upon the sky where a battlefield had been opened. It was a battle between the pinnacle of the young generation of the immortal world. It was destined to attract countless people's attention. Lan Xian has made his move. He's a first-class genius of ethereal immortal domain. He's here on behalf of the ethereal immortal court. His cultivation base has already reached the peak of second-grade Great Sovereign Realm, which is a level higher than Bao Yuan. Adding his talent, he can easily kill an ordinary third-grade Great Sovereign. I'm afraid that Bao Yuan is no match for him. Don't jump to conclusions too early. That's a powerful battle, Saint Ape. Such a heaven-defying bloodline is rare in the heavens and earth. We can't use common sense to estimate it. If Lan Xian isn't a level higher than Bao Yuan, he'll definitely die. Even now, I'm afraid the outcome is still uncertain. I still favor Lan Xian. No matter what, he's still a level higher than Bao Yuan. Although the battle Saint Ape is powerful, Lan Xian, as a first-class genius of the ethereal immortal court, won't be any weaker. The battle had yet to begin, but the crowd had already begun to discuss it. In the face of such a fierce battle, most of them were inclined towards Lan Xian. After all, Lan Xian had a huge advantage in terms of cultivation base. One should know that it was almost incomparably difficult to kill a great sovereign, especially someone like Lan Xian. In the sky, Lan Xian's qi was unparalleled. He shouted at Long Shan, Long Shan, your hands are stained with the blood of our ethereal immortal court. Today, I'll make you pay for what you've done. After I kill you, not only will I avenge the deaths of the disciples of the immortal court, but I'll also obtain the fortune of the saintess of the first generation of the demonic immortal island and a congratulatory gift from the Tianping Evil Emperor. Your existence is destined to fulfill my wish. Someone from the ethereal immortal court? Very well. After hearing the background of the opponent, the corner of Long Shan's mouth curved into a cold smile. Intense killing intent was instantly released from Long Shan's body. Since the opponent was from the ethereal immortal court, Long Shan didn't have any psychological pressure at all. The relationship between him and the ethereal immortal court had long been one of life and death. Moreover, Long Shan would never hold back against those who were bent on killing him. There was no need for him to hold back against his enemies. Don't waste time, make your move. The first-generation saintess said indifferently. It seemed like she did not want to waste time. Long Shan, die. Lan Xian moved, releasing a strong great emperor's aura. He clawed with his hand and a giant hand appeared. The giant hand was like a real heavenly barrier, capable of destroying everything in the heavens and earth. With an unstoppable might, it pressed down on Long Shan. It's good to be here. Long Shan's battle intent was completely aroused. He was a battle maniac. Now that his cultivation base had just advanced to the first-grade demon sovereign realm, he was in high spirits. Fighting against a top genius of the immortal court was what Long Xuesan desired. A life-and-death battle with someone like Lan Xian was more exciting. He was willing to be used by the Saintess in such a battle. Moreover, Long Xuesan didn't reject the resentment of the Saintess. In any case, he had obtained great benefits in the Black Tower these days. It was only natural for him to do something for the Saintess. Draconic Xuesan moved as well. His movement was simple as he sent a terrifying punch towards the huge hand. It was a simple punch, but it carried an indomitable momentum. The void was torn into pieces on the spot. Hung Long. The powerful attacks of the two experts collided with each other, producing an earth-shattering boom. Under Long Xuesan's punch, the giant hand formed by Lan Xian was instantly torn into pieces. The surrounding void was shattered inch by inch, and the terrifying airwaves began to surge like a tide, completely wreaking havoc on the battlefield. A casual move of a great emperor was enough to destroy the heavens and earth. Take the battle between Long Xuesan and Lan Xian as an example. If they didn't create a separate battlefield, it would be a devastating blow to the entire region. The aftermath of the collision was enough to destroy the ancestral graves. What a powerful guy. Lan Xian's expression changed slightly. The way he looked at Long Xuesan also changed. He knew that Long Xuesan was powerful, but he didn't expect him to be this powerful. Long Xuesan could easily destroy his attack without suffering any damage. However, Lan Xian's heart didn't waver. He was just testing the waters with his attack. He was very confident in his powerful means. Plus, he had an advantage in cultivation, so he was quite confident. So powerful. As expected of a battle saint ape. He's a guy born to fight. Even though he's one level lower than Lan Xian, he's still on par with Lan Xian. It's rare. In ancient times, the battle clan was a heaven-defying existence. It's hard to tell who will win in the battle between him and Lan Xian. Let's see. The next battle is going to be really exciting. I'm afraid Lan Xian is going to use his strongest attack. Long Xuesan easily destroyed Lan Xian's attack with one punch. This made many people look at Long Xuesan in a new light, and they were looking forward to the next battle. No one could determine who would win. Even if many people felt that Lan Xian had a great advantage, no one dared to make a conclusion about whether Lan Xian could defeat Long Xuesan. Long Xuesan, that was just a test attack. Next, I won't be polite. Lan Xian's aura was unparalleled. Waves of qi began to surge from his body. He waved his hands in the air, and a scene of the universe appeared. It was like a small world, and it pressed towards Long Xuesan. This time, Lan Xian used his strongest attack. Compared to the previous attack, it was unknown how much stronger it was. However, in the face of such a terrifying attack, Long Xuesan's expression didn't change. No fear could be seen on his face. Lan Xian didn't use his full strength in the first attack, but Long Xuesan didn't use his full strength either. Battle Saint Technique. Fighting Symbol Art. Long Xuesan's voice was hoarse. He used the fighting symbol art, and it was as if he was fighting against the heavens. Shua! Long Xuesan's fighting symbol art evolved into a dazzling golden light. The golden light was like the most terrifying sword in the world. Indestructible. Puchi! Chapter 1987. Bang! After the scene of heaven and earth was destroyed, Lan Xian also suffered a great shock. His body trembled violently and his face darkened. This time, he was really shocked. Looking at Long Xuesan, the expression in his eyes changed completely. How could this monkey be so powerful? Lan Xian clenched his teeth and felt extremely depressed. He couldn't help but feel depressed. One should know that the scene of heaven and earth that he displayed just now was not an ordinary technique. It was the technique that he was most proud of. Originally, he thought that he could completely control Long Xuesan. Once Long Xuesan was sucked into his scene of heaven and earth, his life and death would be completely under his control. It was a pity that Xuesan's strength was beyond his imagination. Xuesan's terrifying and heaven-defying battle technique easily tore through his attack. It was effortless. Amazing. This violent ape's technique is so terrifying. He should be using the Battle Saint technique of the Battle Clan. It's too powerful. It seems that even Lan Xian might not be a match for him. He's a super monstrous genius, a truly heaven-defying existence. He easily destroyed Lan Xian's attack twice in a row. He hasn't even launched his real attack yet. This is too shocking. If Lan Xian can't beat him, then who among the geniuses here can be a match for this violent ape? Everyone was shocked. Long Shersan's performance was too powerful. It was effortless for him to fight against Lan Xian. Junior brother Jiang, isn't your brother a little too powerful? Yu Huafan said speechlessly. He knew Lan Xian's strength the best. Lan Xian was an existence that was on par with him. He originally thought that even if Lan Xian couldn't kill Long Shersan, he could at least defeat him. But now, it seemed that Lan Xian wasn't defeated. Jiang Chen was already abnormal. Now, a random friend of Jiang Chen was also so heaven-defying. Yu Huafan couldn't accept it. Lan Xian will definitely die, Jiang Chen said faintly. Such an outcome was within his expectations. Others might not understand Long Shersan's strength, but he was well aware of it. Long Shersan had just used the battle symbol art of the battle saint technique. If Long Shersan had used the annihilation symbol art, Lan Xian's fate would have been unimaginable. Yu Huafen looked at Jiang Chen in shock again. He had to take his junior brother Jiang's confidence seriously, but he still couldn't believe that Long Shersan could kill Lan Xian. Long Shersan, lend me another move. Matchless in heaven and earth, Scar the Great Tao. Lan Xian finally used his trump card. His body suddenly became taller, and a trace of the Great Tao drifted out from his body. This was a move that he had comprehended in his lifetime. It could imitate the trace of the Great Tao and directly attack the opponent's soul, destroying the place from the root. This move is indeed powerful, but it's a pity that the Great Tao isn't so easy to grasp. Lan Xian has only comprehended a little bit of it, and the attack he displayed was just an imitation. He's overestimating himself if he wants to attack the monkey's soul with such a move. Jiang Chen revealed a sneer at the corner of his mouth. Lan Xian also wanted to pursue the Great Tao, but unfortunately, the Great Tao wasn't so easy to grasp. Every comprehension of the Great Tao required a huge amount of luck. For example, Jiang Chen's way of killing was about killing, which was the true embodiment of the Great Tao. Lan Xian was arrogant and virtuous, but he also wanted to pursue the Great Tao. He was really overestimating himself. He shouted the banner of matchless in heaven and earth, but in fact, he was nothing. Battle Saint Technique. Annihilate Symbol Technique. Long Shersan attacked again, expressionlessly. The terrifying Annihilate Symbol Technique was displayed by him, evolving into a huge Annihilate character. The Annihilate character was like a mountain, suspended above the battlefield. It itself represented a kind of death, a kind of nirvana. A black face seemed to appear above the huge black character. It was the face of the King of Hell, the judge of life and death who walked between heaven and earth, able to judge the life and death of a person at will. Rumble. The Annihilate Symbol Technique was unparalleled in the world, killing everything. Compared to Lan Xian's comprehension of the Great Tao, the aura of nirvana was truly able to affect the mind and soul of a person. Just like now, under the pressure of Long Shersan's Annihilate Symbol Technique, Lan Xian only felt his heart shaking, and his soul palpitating. It was indescribably uncomfortable. With a loud roar, Lan Xian's attack of the Great Path was directly crushed into pieces by the Annihilate Symbol. Although the huge Annihilate Symbol had dimmed a little, it still pressed down on Lan Xian fiercely. Bang! Because the Great Tao had been torn apart, Lan Xian's body had already suffered a huge shock and sustained serious injuries. Coupled with the relatively large pressure on his soul, his mind was in a state of panic. For a moment, he could not continue to resist the oppression of the Annihilate Symbol Technique. Wah! The Annihilate Symbol Technique was like a mountain pressing down on Lan Xian's body. The unparalleled power of destruction and lethality caused Lan Xian to spit out a mouthful of blood, and his aura began to weaken. Swish! In the next moment, Long Shersan's iron cudgel appeared in his hand, and he smashed it towards Lan Xian. Countless people exclaimed. At this time, anyone could imagine that if this iron cudgel hit him firmly, Lan Xian would almost certainly die. Moreover, with Lan Xian's current state, it seemed that he would not be able to resist this cudgel. I surrender! Lan Xian roared loudly. He could feel an extremely dangerous aura. It was the fear that came from the depths of his soul. It was the aura of death. Long Shersan's powerful aura had already sealed the battlefield and the void, not giving him a chance to escape. At this critical moment, face and dignity were no longer important. The most important thing was to stay alive. Therefore, Lan Xian shouted to surrender. How can you surrender in a life-and-death battle? However, Long Shan did not intend to give Lan Xian the chance to surrender. The huge iron cudgel was extremely fast, and it smashed down mercilessly. Ah! A mournful scream was the last sound that Lan Xian left in this world. The iron cudgel hit Lan Xian's head accurately, turning his skull into powder. Blood spurted out crazily. A second-grade Great Sovereign Supreme Genius died on the spot. After killing Lan Xian, Long Shan kept his iron cudgel. His face was expressionless. Long Shan would not show the slightest bit of mercy for killing a genius of the ethereal immortal court. Oh my god, Lan Xian is dead. He was smashed to death just like that. What a pity, what a pity. The ethereal immortal court has suffered a great loss this time. God knows how much resources it takes to nurture a genius like Lan Xian. This monkey is too ferocious. A second-grade Great Sovereign didn't even have the chance to escape. Moreover, he didn't even give his opponent the chance to surrender. Chapter 1988. Lan Xian's death was within Jiang Chen's expectation. He believed that Long Shan understood everything. Therefore, he showed no mercy in killing Lan Xian. Although Lan Xian was strong, there was still a huge gap between him and Long Shan. However, those who didn't know Long Shan well were shocked. Yu Huafan's mouth was wide open, looking at Long Shan who was floating in the sky with an unparalleled aura. His heart was in turmoil, and he couldn't calm himself down for a long time. This kind of situation had the greatest impact on geniuses. Because they were geniuses, they were arrogant and had a heart that refused to admit defeat. It was also because of this that when they encountered geniuses that were stronger than them, they would feel an extremely strong sense of defeat in their hearts. What a monster! Yu Huafan shook his head and sighed. Although Jiang Chen had already told him how terrifying Dragon Shan was, he still couldn't help but sigh when he saw how Lan Xian, who was at the same level as him, was killed by Dragon Shan. A peak second-grade Great Sovereign didn't even have a chance to escape. Regardless of how shocked the others were, what Jiang Chen was paying attention to was the resentment qi on Long Shan's body. After killing Lan Xian, the resentment qi on Long Shan's body had indeed weakened a little, as if it had been released. This was, after all, a good thing. In the sky, the illusory first-generation saintess finally revealed a smile when she saw Long Shan's performance. Obviously, she was quite satisfied with Long Shan's performance. The battle continues. You don't have to fight one-on-one. You can join forces and attack together. If you can defeat this Saint Ape, I will gift you with great fortune. The voice of the first-generation saintess resounded once again. As soon as her words were out, the geniuses who had begun to retreat became restless again. The saintess' words had undoubtedly added more fuel to the fire, causing the scene to boil up again. You really don't mind blowing things up? Jiang Chen shook his head. This saintess had completely treated Long Shan as a tool of slaughter. She didn't care about Long Shan's life or death at all. Even if a few second-grade Great Sovereigns were to attack Long Shan together, she wouldn't stop them. Ladies and gentlemen, the saintess has already said that you can choose to attack together. As long as you can defeat the Saint Ape, you'll be able to obtain a great fortune. Similarly, I'll also give you a congratulatory gift. However, you'd better measure your own strength before you attack. Once you're on the battlefield, your life and death are your own business. It has nothing to do with the demonic immortal island. Tianpeng Evil Emperor spoke aloud. Lan Xian was already dead. In order to release the saintess's resentment, he no longer cared about offending the immortal courts. He, Tianpeng Evil Emperor, was a fearless person. Even though the immortal courts were powerful, he wouldn't put them in his eyes. Furthermore, he had already said the important words. Life and death are your own business. You can choose not to attack. Is there anyone who is willing to join forces? Tan Jinya of Mi Luo Immortal Court stepped forward. Under the temptation of double benefits, he was willing to take the risk. Furthermore, Long Shan and the Immortal Courts had enmity. In addition, Long Shan was too monstrous and his speed of growth was too fast. Judging from the current situation, the degree of threat he posed had surpassed Jiang Chen. Such a figure had to be eliminated as soon as possible in order to avoid future troubles. Of course, there was an important prerequisite for Tan Jinya to take action, and that was to have someone join forces with him. Although he was arrogant and greedy, he was not a fool. He was well aware of Lan Xian's strength. Now that Lan Xian was dead, if he were to join the battle, he would definitely die. "I'll join forces with you." A man in gray linen clothes stepped forward. His body was incomparably sturdy. The muscles on his body were explosive and incomparably solid. At first glance, one could tell that he had cultivated his physique. This man was called Lu He, a genius of Radiant's immortal court. His cultivation base was the same as Tangenia, a peak second-grade great sovereign, only a step away from the third-grade great sovereign realm. His intention of joining forces with Tangenia was the same as Tangenia's. Back in the Golden Horizon, Jiang Chen and Long Shan had offended the three major immortal courts at the same time: Ethereal Immortal Court, Mi Luo Immortal Court and Radiance Immortal Court. To the experts of the three immortal courts, whether it was Jiang Chen or Long Shan, both of them must be killed. Now that Lan Xian was dead, only the two of them were determined to kill Long Shan. "All right, is there anyone else?" Tangenia's gaze shifted to the other geniuses of the immortal courts. After witnessing the terror of Long Shan with his own eyes, he clearly understood that even if he and Lu had joined forces, they would still be no match for Long Shan. At least three of them had to join forces to defeat Long Shan. "Let me do it." Another person stood out. He was a genius of limitless immortal court, called Luo Wanjian. He was also a peak second-grade great sovereign. He was very famous for his invincible combat sword. He had spent his entire life studying sword techniques. It was said that he had already comprehended his own sword Dao. In the past, he had succeeded in breaking through to the great sovereign realm by comprehending the Dao of the sword. Seeing that the person was Luo Wanjian, Tangenia and Lu He's eyes lit up. This was a powerful move. With Luo Wanjian's help, they would be more confident in dealing with Long Shan. "Anyone else?" Tangenia continued to ask. "Tangenia, aren't you ashamed? You have already joined forces with three of us. I don't want to be in the same boat as you. If it's 4 against 1, even if we win, there's nothing to be proud of. If we lose, we won't be able to show our faces in the future." One of them spoke, his tone full of sarcasm. "That's right. We are all people who care about our reputation. We won't do such a thing. If we can't win, we'd rather not fight. We can't afford to lose our face." Another person said. What they said wasn't wrong. What people like them cared about the most was their face. Every one of them was a famous figure, representing the pinnacle of the young generation and the face of the immortal court. They had always fought against many, and had never bullied others with numbers. Their strong self-esteem wouldn't allow them to make such a choice. Moreover, Tangenia had already joined forces with 3 people. 3 people was already the limit of what they could accept. Anyone who was willing to join in at this time would be truly shameless. Humph. It's more important to judge the situation. It doesn't matter if you all don't join in. The 3 of us are enough to defeat Long Shan. At that time, we will be able to obtain fortune and benefits. Don't be greedy. Chapter 1989. All right, the 3 of us are enough. If anyone else joins, I'll quit, said Luo Wanjian. He was a man who cared about his reputation. Plus, the everlasting immortal court didn't have any enmity with Long Shan. He wanted to take action now because of the fortune promised by the Saintess and the treasure promised by the Tianpeng evil emperor. That's all. Just like the others, 3 people was the limit they could accept. Now, Tangenia wanted to invite others to join. If there were really others joining, he would quit immediately. One should know that even if it was 3 against 1, he already felt that he had lost a lot of face. Stop dilly-dallying. If you want to die, come up quickly. Long Shan said coldly. He was an extremely arrogant person. Plus, under the influence of the strong resentment, he gave people a feeling of incomparable arrogance. Long Shan, don't be arrogant. I'll kill you today. Tangenia said. With a flash, she flew up to the sky and came in front of Long Shan. Lu He and Luo Wanjian followed her. The 4 of them instantly opened up a battlefield of great emperors. The airwaves emitted from their bodies were isolated from the outside world. Junior brother Jiang. 3 against 1. What do you think? Yu Huafan looked at Jiang Chen and asked curiously. He wanted to know if Jiang Chen was still as confident as before. After all, The situation was different now. Previously, Lan Xian was alone and he looked down on Long San. From the beginning of the battle, he underestimated his enemy, which led to his death. Now there were 3 of them. Their cultivation had reached this level and they knew how to cooperate with each other. In addition, they had witnessed the terrifying means of Long San. Therefore, they wouldn't look down on Long San this time. If they really fought, it would be hard to say what the outcome would be. Senior brother Yu, I can confidently say that Tan Jinya and Lu He will definitely die. As for Luo Wanjian, he might have a chance to survive. Jiang Chen said with a smile. He had too much confidence in Long San's strength. Even if the 3 of them joined forces, they would still be no match for Long San. Moreover, Long San knew that Tan Jinya and Lu He belonged to the Mi Luo Immortal Court and the Radiance Immortal Court respectively. The enmity between them was too deep. Therefore, Long San would never give them a chance to live. As for Luo Wanjian, he had no enmity with Long San. Therefore, he still had a chance to live, but only a chance. After all, with Long San's current state, it was very normal for him to raise his hand and kill someone. Are you that confident? Yu Huafan's eyes were filled with doubt. Just watch. Jiang Chen shrugged. Rumble. On the battlefield in the sky, a fierce battle broke out in an instant. Tan Jinya and Lu He struck out an extremely powerful attack. The entire battlefield was covered by the violent battle chi waves, and the void was smashed in an instant. Luo Wanjian held a huge golden sword in his hand. It was absolutely a peerless battle sword. A casual move of it would produce a soaring sword chi that changed the color of the sky and earth. Haha, come on. Facing the joint attack of the 3, Long San didn't show the slightest fear. Flames burst out from his fiery golden eyes, and he exerted the battle saint technique to the extreme. Waves of battle chi evolved into violent attacks and fought against the 3 of them. Rumble. The battle was completely blown up. This was simply the pinnacle battle of the young generation. Not to mention those who were in the battle. Even those who were watching from the outside felt their blood boiling with excitement. At the end of the confrontation, the 2 sides were evenly matched. Even the joint attack of the 3 was completely resisted by Long San's battle saint technique. Moreover, the violent chi on Long San's body became more intense. Like Jiang Chen, he was also a battle maniac. The stronger the enemy, the more excited he was. If the enemy was too weak, it wouldn't be able to stimulate his huge battle intent. Amazing! This Long San is really a peerless evildoer. With his battle strength 1 level lower than him, he resisted the strong attacks of the 3 geniuses. It seems that it was effortless for him. That's right. If the demonic immortal island can get such a heaven-defying existence to join them, the prestige of the demonic immortal island will be even greater than it is now. This battle saint ape is likely to surpass Tian Peng evil emperor in the future. Let's see. Who do you think will win this battle? It's hard to say. Even if Luo Wanjian and the other 2 can win, it's almost impossible for them to kill Long San. Such a figure can be defeated, but it's very difficult to kill him. Everyone was shocked. They had witnessed one good show after another in this trip to the demonic immortal island. The fierce battle between Long San and the 3 geniuses was much more enjoyable than the battle between Jiang Chen and Xiao Wangqing. Rumble. The battlefield had been completely covered by the colorful destructive waves of air. From the outside, it was impossible to see what was happening inside. They could only hear the continuous roars of the fierce battle, which lasted for a long time. Myriad swords returned to origin. On the battlefield, Luo Wanjian displayed the sword technique that he was most proud of. His whole body was boiling with battle intent. He had never thought that a first-grade great sovereign could be so powerful. If he didn't fight with Long San personally, he would never know how terrifying Long San was. At least at this moment, Luo Wanjian was incomparably serious. He had no choice but to be serious in the face of such an opponent. Even if the 3 of them were to join forces, any carelessness might give the opponent a chance to take advantage of the situation and cause a fatal disaster. Exterminate symbol art, exterminate the heavens, exterminate the earth, and exterminate the firmament. Long San erupted completely. His body transformed into a violent ape that was dozens of meters in size. His body was filled with violent chi, causing his combat strength to rise once again. The extermination symbol art was executed to the extreme. It was a sense of destruction that could destroy the heaven and earth. Even those outside the battlefield could feel the intense destructive combat strength. This was the great art of extermination, capable of shaking the heaven and earth. This was the ultimate display of the battle saint technique. Even Tangenia and the other two were frightened by this violent combat strength. Their facial expression changed. They knew that they had underestimated Long Xuesan's strength, even though they had made a great assessment of Long Xuesan's combat strength. "Don't hold back anymore," Luo Wanjian shouted. "Rumble." Chapter 1990. The entire battlefield had gone completely berserk. Endless waves of qi kept rolling like raging waves. Long Xuesan had transformed into an unparalleled violent ape. The power that could destroy the heavens, the earth, and the sky made the enemies tremble in fear. At this time, even if the three of them joined forces, Tangenia and the others did not have the slightest confidence in winning. They even began to regret stepping into this battlefield. Rumble. The extermination symbol formula clashed fiercely with the trio's violent attacks. As boundless waves of air rolled about, Tangenia and Lu He's attacks were the first to be destroyed. On the other side, Luo Wanjian suffered the same fate. Even though he unleashed the myriad swords returning to origin and released countless strands of sword qi, the sword qi, which was said to be invincible, could not withstand a single blow from the extermination symbol formula and was destroyed en masse. The sword qi was destroyed. Luo Wanjian, like the other two, was also pushed back by Long Xuesan's attack. The faces of the three turned extremely ugly. Their auras were in complete disorder. Tangenia and Lu Ha even had a trace of blood at the corner of their mouths. After this confrontation, all three of them had suffered heavy or light injuries. In such a fierce battle, even the slightest injury could be fatal. The gap between the two sides had been invisibly widened. Long Xuesan was extremely berserk. The resentment on his body grew thicker and thicker. Then, this resentment turned into a strong killing intent. He displayed the extermination symbol art again. A huge face of the King of Hell appeared above his head. He was the first to lock on to Tangenia and pounce towards her. "Not good. This person cannot be resisted. I'm going to retreat," Luo Wanjian shouted. His body flashed and retreated from the battlefield. He was a very smart person. After witnessing Long Xuesan's abnormal and terrifying strength, he had to admit that there was a big gap between him and Long Xuesan, even if he was unwilling. Even though the three of them had joined forces, they still felt like they were fighting for themselves when facing Long Xuesan. Luo Wanjian believed that if the battle continued, they would end up like Lan Xian. He could already smell the scent of death. Although it was embarrassing to run away, at this point, he couldn't care less. It was better than losing his life. Besides, he didn't have any deep hatred with Long Xuesan. In fact, after seeing Luo Wanjian withdraw, even Tangenia and Lu Ha, who had a deep grudge against Long Xuesan, were prepared to withdraw. Facing an enemy that was impossible to defeat, if they continued to fight, they would only end up in tragedy. The two looked at each other, then turned around and ran at the same time. They were ready to follow Luo Wanjian's example and retreat from the battlefield. Unfortunately, they were horrified to find out that the extermination symbol art had locked onto their qi, especially Tangenia. She couldn't escape at all. Lu Ha was in the same situation. The aura of the battle saint technique had sealed the entire battlefield. In other words, Xuesan had no intention of letting them go from the beginning. Jiang Chen understood Long Xuesan's approach the most. Tangenia and the other two were top-notch geniuses. Even if they were defeated, they could still escape if they wanted to. It was almost impossible for Long Xuesan to keep all three of them here. Therefore, he allowed Luo Wanjian to escape and focused all his energy on dealing with Tangenia and Lu Ha. After all, these two were mortal enemies. Long Xuesan had no reason to let them go. "Damn it, let's attack together and resist him." Tangenia's expression changed greatly because he could smell the Death King's aura. An incomparably strong aura of death. He was almost certain that in his current state, even if he used all his strength, he wouldn't be able to resist Long Xuesan's exterminate symbol art. Helpless, Tangenia could only continue to attack. Violent energy collided with Long Xuesan's exterminate symbol art. Rumble. Ugh. This time, it wasn't as easy as before. The power of the exterminate symbol art was not reduced, and Tangenia's battle strength was also seriously damaged. How could he be a match for Long Xuesan? A blood-curdling scream rang out from Tangenia's mouth. One of his arms had been shattered and blood was gushing out. His eyes were filled with terror. He didn't want to die, and he had never imagined that death would be so close to him. Die! Long Xueqi was incomparably tyrannical. An iron staff appeared in his hand, and with lightning speed, he heavily smashed it on Tangenia's head. This time, Tangenia couldn't avoid it. His head was smashed into pieces, and he followed in Lan Xian's footsteps, dying miserably on the spot. Swoosh! After killing Tangenia, Long Xueqi's fiery golden eyes swept towards Lu He, whose face was as pale as ash. Lu He's heart was trembling with fear, and he was terrified to the extreme. When Long Xueqi killed Tangenia just now, he saw it with his own eyes. He didn't even have the chance to help. Long Xueqi, don't kill me. I surrender. Surrender is allowed in a battle between us, Lu He said in horror. Lu He said in a horrified tone. At a time like this, face was no longer important. Nothing was more practical than preserving one's life. Boom, however, Long Xueqi didn't even bother to say a word. The terrifying iron staff smashed over with a bang, and the void was smashed into pieces on the spot. Boundless air waves drifted out from the iron staff, forming a zone of air waves, and completely enveloped Lu He. Facing such an attack, the only thing Lu He could do was to resist. His aura was completely locked on by the opponent's attack, and it was impossible to dodge. What a joke! Surrender? How could Long Xueqi give him the chance to surrender? Letting go of Luo Wanjian had already made Long Xueqi very depressed. This Lu He was from the Radiant Celestial Court. Since he had encountered him, he had to kill him. Arg! Long Xueqi struck 3 times in a row, and the power of each strike was as heavy as billions of tons. The current iron staff was at least a great emperor weapon. Coupled with the tacit understanding between Lu He and Long Xueqi, the lethality of the iron staff was immeasurable. After Lu He withstood 2 attacks from the iron staff, he finally couldn't withstand the 3rd strike. With a shrill scream, he was killed by Long Xueqi with 1 strike. In the blink of an eye, Tangenia and Lu He died in the hands of Long Xueqi. Among the 3 of them, only Luo Wanjian walked out alive. At this moment, Luo Wanjian's expression was extremely unsightly. Looking at the tragic deaths of Tangenia and Lu He, he felt a lingering fear in his heart. Fortunately, he had escaped early. Otherwise, he would have died under the iron staff of the violent ape. There was no doubt about this. The scene became restless again. Countless people's expressions became extremely unsightly. They suddenly realized that the first-generation Saintess had used Long Xueqi to kill. The geniuses present were no match for the battle Saint Ape. Chapter 1991. It's too ruthless. There's no way to fight against this sacred battling ape. The first Saintess must know that this sacred battling ape has already inherited the first Saintess legacy. Coupled with its terrifying bloodline, it has already surpassed Lan Xian's level of talent. The 3 immortal domains have suffered a great loss this time. 3 of their geniuses are dead. Luo Wanjian is the smartest. He chose to withdraw at the last moment. Otherwise, he would have died under Long Xueqi's iron staff, just like Tangenia and the others. I'm afraid that no one else will appear, unless there's a 3rd-grade great sovereign genius from beyond heaven. Otherwise, no one will go to their death. Everyone was in a state of intense shock. They had finally witnessed the terror of Long Xueqi. Damn it! One Jiang Chen and the other Long Xueqi. These 2 bastards have grown up. Jiang Chen and Tianpeng Evil Emperor are sworn brothers. When can we take our revenge? We've suffered a great loss in this trip to Demonic Immortal Island. We must report everything to the Sovereign Lord. We can't just let this matter go. The people of Mi Luo Immortal Court and Radiance Immortal Court were filled with anger and sorrow. They had never thought that this birthday celebration would turn into a tragedy. Roar! In the sky, Long Xueqi had reverted to his human form after killing the 3 of them. His bright eyes flickered with brilliance, making people not dare to look at him directly. Jiang Chen could clearly feel that Long Xueqi's tyrannical qi had weakened after killing Tangenia and Lu He. This was a good thing no matter what. He's indeed a battle saint ape. He's so heaven-defying. The blue wolf demon the arch sighed. They were both from the demon race, but he, the blue wolf, admitted that his bloodline was far inferior to that of Dragon Xueqi. Who else wants to attack? Do it now. The saintess spoke. It seemed like she hadn't had enough of the massacre and wanted to continue. Motherfucker. Do they think we're fools? At a time like this, who would still make a move? Going up would just be throwing their lives away. That's right. The first-generation saintess has been dead for countless years. Right now, she's just a stream of resentment. She wants to use Long Xueqi to release her own resentment. We can't fall for it again. That's right. 3 people have already died. To make another move at this time would mean that there's something wrong with the head. Moreover, it's quite a serious case. No one was buying it anymore. No one present was a fool. Previously, they had been blinded by greed and did not have an accurate understanding of Long Xueqi's strength. That was why they had suffered such a huge loss. Now, they had almost seen through the intentions of the first-generation saintess, and also witnessed Long Xueqi's ferocity. Wouldn't they be the real idiots if they went up to die at this time? Huff huff. Seeing that no one was continuing to make a move, the first-generation saintess, who had a smile on her face because Long Xueqi had killed 2 people, instantly turned extremely cold. Monstrous resentment gushed out from her body and swept across the entire ancestral grave, drifting endlessly. More importantly, this huge amount of resentment actually poured into Long Xueqi's body. Roar! With so much resentment pouring into him in an instant, Long Xueqi roared to the sky. The violent sound was endless. His eyes turned black, and his entire body was almost corroded by resentment. Not good. Jiang Qin shouted. He didn't expect the first-generation saintess' resentment to be so heavy. After seeing that no one was continuing to make a move, she suddenly became extremely manic and resentful. Now, Long Xueqi was completely under her control. He had probably lost his own consciousness. This situation was very bad. If things went wrong, Long Xueqi might become a killing machine and lose himself forever. How could this be? Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign's face turned unsightly. The resentment was so intense that if he were to rely on killing to release it, he was afraid that tens of thousands of people would be killed. That would be a massacre. Monkey, let's go. The first-generation saintess looked at the completely manic Long Xueqi and prepared to leave with Long Xueqi. Seeing this, Jiang Chen and Tianpeng Evil Emperor's faces changed. Once they left this place, the consequences were almost imaginable. Not good. Once the saintess leaves this place, the resentment will become stronger and stronger. At that time, it will turn into a terrifying vengeful spirit. Even Long Xueqi will become a killing machine controlled by the vengeful spirit. At that time, there will be no peace in the immortal world. There will be endless killings. Tianpeng Evil Emperor's expression was incomparably unsightly. In the face of this situation, even he was helpless. If the first-generation saintess left with resentment, even Tianpeng Evil Emperor might not be able to stop her. Moreover, if he stopped her, it was very likely that the saintess would be completely enraged. At that time, it would directly cause a massacre on the demonic immortal island. De Huang. Jiang Chen called De Huang. At such a critical moment, the only person he could think of was De Huang Dog. He believed that De Huang Dog must have a way. The famous demon sovereign Long Yang. There was probably nothing in this world that could baffle him. However, when Jiang Chen turned his head around, he found that Big Yellow who was always by his side had disappeared. He had no idea where he went. In the sky, the saintess had already left the range of the Black Tower with Long Xueqi. At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared. Young Demon Sovereign. That's right, the person who suddenly appeared was the young Demon Sovereign. Jiang Chen looked at the young Demon Sovereign with a stunned expression. Then, he seemed to suddenly understand something. Demon Sovereign Long Yang. Oh my god, such an ancient figure has actually appeared again. How is this possible? Seeing the young Demon Sovereign, Tianpeng Evil Emperor couldn't help but exclaim. One must know that Demon Sovereign Long Yang, Immortal Execution King, Zhang Xian the Great Emperor and Void Emperor were figures of the same generation. When they became famous, Tianpeng Evil Emperor was still a little bird. Demon Sovereign. I heard that the man who abandoned the first-generation saintess was Demon Sovereign Long Yang. Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign whispered. Don't speak. This is a secret. Outsiders don't know about it. Tianpeng Evil Emperor glanced at Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign. Seeing the appearance of Demon Sovereign Long Yang in the sky, the body of the first-generation saintess, who was originally agitated, suddenly trembled violently. She stared blankly at the young man in front of her. Saintess, so many years have passed. Why do you have to do this? The young demon sovereign said. I just want an explanation. Saintess said. Okay, I'll give you an explanation. Chapter 1992. The young demon sovereign and the saintess had vanished, leaving Long Shersan standing in the sky with a blank face. It could be seen that Long Shersan had been completely controlled, like a wooden puppet, which made Jiang Chen's heart ache. But at this moment, no one cared about Long Shersan's appearance. They were all guessing the identity of the young man. Who's that young man? I've never seen him before. He seems to be a demon sovereign. It can be seen that the first-generation saintess knows that young man. Otherwise, such a situation would not have occurred. However, the first-generation saintess has been dead for a long time. She is someone from the previous era. Could that young man also be from that era? Who knows? Too many things have happened in the demonic immortal island this time. Who knows what happened in that era? Let's just watch and not judge. This is the internal affairs of the demonic immortal island. It has nothing to do with us. That's right. There's no need for us to get involved in the internal affairs of the demonic immortal island. Ethereal immortal domain has suffered a great loss. Luo Wanjian was lucky enough to survive. We can't get involved in the affairs of the demonic immortal island anymore. Especially the saintess and the saint ape. We'd better not provoke them, lest we get ourselves into trouble. Everyone was guessing the identity of the young demon sovereign, but no one really knew. After all, the era of demon sovereign dragon sun was too long ago. Among the people present, only Tianpeng Evil Emperor was able to tolerate demon sovereign dragon Sunday. Moreover, when demon sovereign dragon sun was at his peak, Tianpeng Evil Emperor was just a little bird. But after witnessing Long Shersan's massacre, the people of the immortal court knew that they shouldn't get involved in the affairs of the demonic immortal island. Otherwise, they might lose their lives. It wasn't worth it. Jiang Chen shook his head and smiled bitterly. He had already guessed everything even if Tianpeng Evil Emperor didn't say it. It turned out that the heartless man who abandoned the first-generation saintess was De Huang Dog. No wonder De Huang Dog looked so worried when he went overseas with him. No wonder De Huang Dog knew so much about demonic immortal island. No wonder De Huang Dog couldn't take his eyes off the first-generation saintess. Now, all the abnormalities of De Huang Dog could be explained clearly. No one knew what was happening in the chaotic qi, and no one knew what the young demon emperor and the first-generation saintess were talking about. However, Jiang Chen believed that De Huang Dog would definitely be able to resolve this crisis, and only De Huang Dog could. From the bottom of Jiang Chen's heart, he agreed with Big Yellow's decision to step forward. There were some grudges that needed to be resolved sooner or later. Once they were resolved, it would be good for both sides, as they could fulfill their wish and even let the saintess rest in peace. The first-generation saintess had said that she only wanted an explanation. 10 minutes later, the chaotic qi disappeared. The figure of the first-generation saintess reappeared in front of everyone, but the handsome young demon emperor had disappeared. Beside Jiang Chen, De Huang Dog appeared again. Jiang Chen didn't go over to ask, but he could feel the relief of De Huang Dog at this moment. It was a feeling of relief, as though a huge rock had been removed from his heart. In the sky, the saintess of the first generation was standing quietly. No one said a word. Her eyes changed a few times and finally turned to Big Yellow. A smile emerged on her face as she said, "Thank you." It was a very strange thank you. No one knew what this thank you meant. However, Jiang Chen let out a long sigh of relief. He knew that everything had been resolved after the saintess thanked him. A large amount of resentment disappeared from Long Shersan's body. Almost in the blink of an eye, Long Shersan's eyes became clear. The figure of the saintess began to fade and was about to disappear completely. Ancestor! The Tianpeng Evil Emperor bowed deeply to the saintess. The rest of the people on the demonic immortal island also bowed. Some even knelt on the ground. The demon race had unimaginable respect for their ancestors. From today on, the demonic immortal island will abolish the saintess and replace her with a holy son. Long Shersan is the first-generation holy son of the demonic immortal island. Remember, he will lead the demonic immortal island to prosperity. The voice of the first-generation saint rang out loud and clear. Everyone present could hear it clearly. After saying that, the saintess disappeared completely. All right, let's go. Let's go. The resentment in the sky disappeared, and the light above the black tower also disappeared. Everything returned to normal, as if nothing had happened. Only the last words of the saintess of the first generation were still echoing in the hearts of everyone on demonic Immortal Island. Everyone on the demonic Immortal Island was sad at this moment. They all knew that this time, the saintess had completely disappeared and would never appear again. However, the people of the demonic Immortal Island were also happy for the saintess. They all knew that the saintess had finally fulfilled her wish. Even if she disappeared, she would have no regrets in her life. Long Xueqi bowed deeply in the direction where the saintess disappeared. He looked very respectful. Only he knew what had happened in the Black Tower these days. In order to repay the saintess' kindness, Long Xueqi was willing to stay on the demonic Immortal Island and play the role of Holy Sunj. Tianpeng Evil Emperor flew to the sky and stood in front of Long Xueqi. Then he announced to everyone, from now on, the demonic Immortal Island will follow the will of the ancestors. From now on, the saintess will be abolished and the Holy Sun will be replaced. Long Xueqi will be the first generation Holy Sun of the demonic Immortal Island. With these sonorous words of Tianpeng Evil Emperor, the demonic Immortal Island ushered in the biggest reform. For a long time, the demonic Immortal Island only had the saintess and never the Holy Sun. Today, the saintess was abolished and the Holy Sun was replaced. This was a great change for the demonic Immortal Island. The people of the demonic Immortal Island were clear about Long Xueqi's strength. The powerful Battle Saint Ape bloodline could be said to be the most tyrannical existence in the demonic Immortal Island. Such a person was naturally qualified to be the first-generation Holy Sun of the demonic Immortal Island. Holy Sun, Holy Sun, Holy Sun. Tens of thousands of people of the demonic Immortal Island shouted the name of the Holy Sun in unison. This was a symbolic day. They would never forget the last words of the saintess. Under the leadership of Long Xueqi, the demonic Immortal Island would never decline. How could the ancestors be wrong? That's great. Chapter 1993. Jiang Chen patted De Huang Dog's head. This trip to the demonic Immortal Island went so smoothly and they obtained such great benefits was all thanks to De Huang Dog. He broke into the Myriad Wind Grand Formation to save Tian Lingyu, and resolved the long-cherished love between them that lasted for more than 300 years. He became the sworn brother of Tianpeng Evil Emperor. He saved Long Xueqi from danger and made a great contribution to the peace of the immortal world. All of these were thanks to De Huang Dog. If Jiang Chen didn't say it, even Tianpeng Evil Emperor wouldn't be able to guess that this quiet and silent De Huang Dog was actually the mastermind behind all the affairs of the demonic Immortal Island, the famous demonic Emperor Long Yang. The matter of the demonic Immortal Island had been completely resolved. Long Xueqi had become the first Holy Sun. Many major powers that came to attend the birthday celebration went back to rest. They were still waiting for the wedding of Xiao Wangqing and Tian Lingyu 3 days later. Jiang Chen, Long Xueqi and De Huang Dog returned to their residence. Yu Huafan knew that they had something to talk about, so he didn't show up and went to the demonic Immortal Island for sightseeing. Monkey, congratulations. I didn't expect to see you again so soon after we parted last time. More importantly, you've undergone such a tremendous change. Jiang Chen said with a smile. It wasn't easy for the two brothers to reunite here. It's all thanks to the help of the first saintess that my cultivation base could progress so quickly. I have to accept her kindness, so I agreed to stay and be their Holy Sun. Long Xueqi said. It's not a bad thing to be the Holy Sun of the demonic Immortal Island. The demonic Immortal Island is the largest gathering place of the demon race in the immortal world. It's not a disgrace to you. Besides, our relationship with the demonic Immortal Island has become much closer. This will be of great benefit to us. After all, we have too many enemies in the immortal world. Jiang Chen said. That's true. The 3 immortal courts hate us to the core, but Lan Xian and Tangenia still want to kill me. They've overestimated themselves. Since they're courting death, Master Monkey naturally won't show any mercy. Long Xueqi said. Ever since he knew the identity of Lan Xian and the others, he had no intention of letting them go. Jiang Chen and Long Xueqi chatted for a while longer before their eyes fell on the sullen De Huang Dog. After learning about the relationship between De Huang Dog and the first saintess, they never asked about what happened in the Chaos Orach. You don't have to ask. It's all in the past. The reason why I took action was to fulfill a long-cherished wish of my previous life. My previous life is my previous life, and this life is this life. I want to live my own life and don't want to be too involved with my previous life. From now on, I'm no longer Demon Sovereign Dragon Sunday. Everything in my previous life has nothing to do with me. De Huang Dog said. De Huang, this is a good thing. Long San said. Jiang Chen also nodded his head, deeply feeling that what De Huang Dog said was right. This life was this life, it was a completely different identity, a new life, and it had nothing to do with his previous life. If it wasn't because Big Yellow had recovered the memories of his previous life, how could he have a close relationship with his previous life? The matter of the first Saintess should be the last hurdle left in Demon Sovereign Dragon Sun's heart. Now, De Huang Dog had helped Demon Sovereign Dragon Sun to overcome this hurdle, helping his previous life, and also helping himself. From now on, De Huang Dog would be able to live his own life. Jiang Chen and Long San exchanged a glance. They didn't ask about what happened in the Chaos Aura, nor did they ask about what happened between Demon Sovereign Dragon Sun and the First Saintess. Why did he abandon the Saintess and leave by himself? Because all of these things weren't important anymore. Everything had become a thing of the past. Ashes to ashes. Dust to dust. Whether it was the First Saintess or Demon Sovereign Dragon Sun, everything was in the past and would eventually disappear in the long river of history. Monkey, I'm going into seclusion to advance to the late Immortal Venerable Realm. Help me keep an eye on the people of Radiance Immortal Court and Mi Luo Immortal Court. Tan Jinya and Lu Ha are dead. They won't stay to attend Xiao Wangqing's wedding anymore. Their geniuses have died in your hands and you are now the holy son of Demonic Immortal Island. This has already made them resentful towards Demonic Immortal Island. Keep an eye on them. If they leave the island in advance, inform me immediately. Jiang Chen said with a hint of ruthlessness in his eyes. You don't intend to let them leave alive, do you? That's easy. Just focus on your seclusion. As long as they leave the island, De Huang and I will eliminate them separately. Long San naturally understood what Jiang Chen meant. The enmity between them and the three immortal courts had long been irreconcilable. Now that they had encountered each other here, it would be a battle of life and death. All the experts of Ethereal Immortal Court, including Lan Xian, had died. As for the other two immortal courts, there naturally wouldn't be any accidents. Jiang Chen had no intention of letting them go. This had always been their way of dealing with enemies. No. You have just become the holy son of Demonic Immortal Island. You have to pay attention to your identity. After all, this is the overseas region, which is under the control of Demonic Immortal Island. It's only appropriate for me and De Huang to deal with them. Jiang Chen said. The fact that Long San had become the holy son of Demonic Immortal Island indicated that the relationship between Demonic Immortal Island and the three immortal courts wouldn't be good. However, it wasn't the time for them to become enemies yet. Therefore, Jiang Chen didn't intend to let Long San become the enemy of Demonic Immortal Island just after he became the holy son of Demonic Immortal Island. However, it was different for him. The enmity between him and the three immortal courts was irreconcilable. Moreover, the Fengqi Immortal Court behind him was also hostile to the three immortal courts. Moreover, Jiang Chen had his own purpose in going to Fengqi Immortal Court. He wanted to make Fengqi Immortal Court more chaotic. All right. Leave this matter to me. They won't be able to escape from under my nose. Long San said, then vanished in a flash. Long San was now the holy son of Demonic Immortal Island. He could control everything in Demonic Immortal Island. Under such circumstances, it would be too embarrassing for Long San to let the two immortal courts leave unknowingly. Kid, what trump card do you have to advance to the late Immortal Venerable Realm? De Huang Dog looked at Jiang Chen curiously. As far as he knew, Jiang Chen had just advanced to the intermediate Immortal Venerable Realm not long ago. It wouldn't be easy for him to advance to the late Immortal Venerable Realm in such a short period of time. Unless Jiang Chen had an important trump card, it would be very difficult for him to do so. What do you think this is? Jiang Chen turned his palm and the divine blood of Vermilion Bird appeared in his hand. For God's sake! Tianpeng Evil Emperor has actually given this to you. He's worthy of being his sworn brother. Chapter 1994. With a sway of his body, Jiang Chen entered the 33rd floor of Zulong Tower. This was always the best place for advancement. De Huang Dog was used to playing the role of a protector. After ending the relationship with the saintess of the first generation and bidding farewell to his previous life, the cheerful De Huang dog appeared once again. From now on, there would no longer be a demon sovereign Long Yang. In the 33rd floor, Jiang Chen took out the vermilion bird divine blood and swallowed it. With the support of the dragon transformation skill, there was nothing in the heavens and earth that Jiang Chen couldn't refine. Jiang Chen's cultivation base had just reached the intermediate immortal venerable realm not long ago, and the number of dragon marks in his body had reached 1.56 million. Normally, it would be incomparably difficult for him to advance to the late immortal venerable realm in a short period of time. After all, Jiang Chen's foundation was just too deep. Every advancement required a tremendous amount of energy. Moreover, continuous advancement would affect Jiang Chen's foundation, which was what Jiang Chen was most concerned about. But it was different with the vermilion bird divine blood. It was a true divine item. Even if it helped Jiang Chen advance to the late immortal venerable realm, it wouldn't affect Jiang Chen's foundation in the slightest. There was no doubt about it. Hong. A drop of vermilion bird divine blood was swallowed by Jiang Chen. The violent energy immediately rushed to Jiang Chen's limbs and bones. It was afraid that only Jiang Chen could do such a barbaric refinement method. If it was an ordinary person, even a half-step sovereign wouldn't dare to swallow a drop of vermilion bird divine blood directly, because the violent impact wasn't something an ordinary person could bear. Apart from the violent energy, there was also the mighty vermilion bird divine fire in the vermilion bird divine blood. Not everyone could absorb such a supreme flame, but it wasn't a problem for Jiang Chen. His physique was so strong that he could withstand the violent energy. As for the vermilion bird divine fire, it couldn't be any better. Jiang Chen already had 4 types of supreme flames of the same grade in his body, which gave him a great immunity to flames. The dragon transformation skill began to circulate frantically. The violent energy in the vermilion bird divine blood began to be converted into his own energy by Jiang Chen. New dragon marks began to form in his Qi Si. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 10,000, 20,000. The speed was too fast. In just a few minutes, 40,000 dragon marks had been formed, pushing the total number of dragon marks in his body to 1.6 million, which was the number needed to advance to the late immortal venerable realm. Jiang Chen's eyes sparkled. A large number of immortal vermilion dragonstones began to rush to the late immortal sovereign realm. Ka-cha! That was the sound of the bottleneck being broken. At this moment, Jiang Chen's cultivation base had successfully advanced to the late immortal venerable realm. The 1.6 million dragon marks in his Qi Si were roaring and circling like countless azure dragons. The entire Qi Si had turned into an ocean of dragons. It was an extremely spectacular scene. If anyone could see the situation inside Jiang Chen's Qi Si, they would surely be astonished. After advancing to the late immortal venerable realm, the speed of the increase of dragon marks showed no signs of slowing down. The vermilion bird divine blood is truly worthy of its name. I initially thought that a drop of vermilion bird divine blood would be good enough for me to advance to the late immortal venerable realm. I didn't expect that this drop of vermilion bird divine blood would contain the origin of the vermilion bird. In this case, the benefits it will bring me will be doubled. At this rate, at least another 30,000 dragon marks will be formed, pushing my cultivation base to the peak of late immortal venerable realm. Jiang Chen was extremely excited. This was an unexpected surprise. If his cultivation base could advance to the peak of late immortal venerable realm, he wouldn't be far from the half-step sovereign realm. The current situation in the immortal world was clear. Coupled with the matter of the barbarian race, the enemies were getting stronger and stronger. Jiang Chen deeply felt that his strength wasn't enough. What he hoped to see the most now was the improvement of his strength. Putting aside the war in the immortal court, the fact that Xueqi heir was trapped in the barbarian race had become a stone in Jiang Chen's heart. As long as Xueqi heir wasn't rescued, Jiang Chen wouldn't be able to let it go. Come on, let's go all out. Jiang Chen's heart was in a frenzy. The vermilion bird divine blood played a huge role in condensing new dragon marks. This time, there was enough time, so Jiang Chen wasn't in a hurry. It took him a full hour to completely refine the vermilion bird divine blood. When the vermilion bird divine blood was completely refined, just as Jiang Chen had expected, the number of dragon marks in his body had reached 1,630,000. He was only 20,000 dragon marks away from the half-step sovereign realm. His cultivation base had also advanced to the peak of late immortal venerable realm. Pa, pa. Sounds of firecrackers kept bursting out from Jiang Chen's body. That was the sound of violent energy. Currently, he was like a body of energy. The energy that was radiating out was like an endless ocean. Late Immortal Venerable. Given my current strength, killing a first-grade Great Sovereign won't be a problem. In my dragon form, I can even kill a second-grade Great Sovereign. Jiang Chen's eyes shone brightly. It was a feeling of being powerful, and he liked this feeling. After advancing to the late Immortal Venerable realm, Jiang Chen didn't leave the Zulong Tower immediately. Instead, he chose to go into seclusion. Now that the energy in his body was in a frenzy, he needed to stabilize his cultivation base. Anyway, the 33rd level had the advantage of the time law. Even if he went into seclusion for 3 days, it would only be dark outside. 3 days passed in a flash. Jiang Chen's strength had been completely stabilized. His energy was no longer restless. Not only that, he had also completely merged with the Vermilion Bird Divine Fire. Including the previous 4 types of flames, there were now 5 types of flames in Jiang Chen's body, bringing him greater benefits. Jiang Chen slowly got up and walked out of the Zulong Tower. It was already late at night. De Huang Dog ran towards Jiang Chen the moment he saw him. Not bad, kid. You've improved pretty fast. Judging from your qi, it won't take long for you to break through to the half-step sovereign realm. De Huang Dog said. The Vermilion Bird Divine Blood has helped me a lot. I've gained a lot in this trip. Jiang Chen smiled. The biggest winner of this trip was undoubtedly Jiang Chen. Not only had his cultivation base improved tremendously, he had also become sworn brothers with Tianping Evil Emperor, solved the love problem of 300 years for Longsher San, and met Longsher San, who had become the first holy son of the demonic immortal island. His cultivation base had also reached the terrifying first-grade demon sovereign realm. Swoosh! At this moment, a silhouette flickered. Longsher San appeared in front of Jiang Chen and De Huang Dog. Are we leaving now? Asked Jiang Chen. Yes. The experts of Radiance Immortal Domain and Mi Luo Immortal Domain have already left the island. Given their speed, they will be able to leave the ocean very soon. Chapter 1995. After leaving Jiang Chen's place, Jiang Chen had been secretly paying attention to the movements of the 2 immortal courts. Sure enough, after losing Tanjinya and Lu Ha, the 2 immortal courts were no longer in the mood to stay any longer. Therefore, they left as soon as the sky turned dark. Longsher San immediately came to report to Jiang Chen. He knew that Jiang Chen wouldn't let them leave unscathed. All right. De Huang, we'll split into 2 groups and intercept them. Remember, don't hold back. Don't leave any survivors. Jiang Chen said Lung Lung. Jia, don't worry. Master Dog has always been ruthless. De Huang Dog let out a sinister smile. He loved killing his enemies the most and was most excited about it. How dare you 2 stop me from attacking? Longsher San said gloomily. Monkey, you'd better be the holy son. Jiang Chen patted Longsher San's shoulder, then disappeared with De Huang Dog in 2 rays of light. Although the remaining experts of the 2 immortal courts were also experts, it would be a piece of cake for Jiang Chen and De Huang Dog to kill them after losing Tanjinya and Lu Ha. De Huang Dog was a peak first-grade demon sovereign, while the other party didn't even have a second-grade great sovereign. It would be too easy for De Huang Dog to kill them. Jiang Chen was different now. He had just advanced to the peak of late immortal venerable realm. No one knew how much his combat strength had improved. He was no longer someone that the other party could fight against. The experts of Mi Luo Immortal Court and Radiance Immortal Court flew in 2 different directions after leaving. Their faces were incomparably gloomy. If they knew that they would suffer such a great loss in this trip to demonic immortal island, they wouldn't have come at all. On the side of Mi Luo Immortal Domain, no one spoke along the way. The atmosphere was incomparably depressing. Everyone, I don't think it's a good idea to sneak away like this. Suddenly, a ghostly voice rang out. Everyone immediately stopped in their tracks and saw a ray of light flashing by. Following that, a figure appeared in front of them, blocking their path. The newcomer looked to be around 25 or 26 years old. He was dressed in white and had a faint smile on his face. He was extraordinarily handsome and had an unparalleled aura. Who else could it be other than Jiang Chen? Jiang Chen. Qin Xianbing and the others were infuriated when they saw Jiang Chen. It was an expression of monstrous hatred, and they simply gnashed their teeth. However, Everyone quickly released their spiritual wills into the void. When they discovered that only Jiang Chen had appeared, they heaved a sigh of relief. Qin Xianbing, are you leaving just like that? The grievances between us haven't been resolved yet. Jiang Chen said lightly. Jiang Chen, don't tell me that you came here alone to stop us to kill us. Qin Xuanbing's tone was cold. What? Can't you kill me? Jiang Chen shrugged his shoulders and looked at Qin Xianbing with interest. Jiang Chen, I really admire your arrogance. Do you really think you can fight us alone? Since you've come to die in the middle of the night, it seems like we have to fulfill your wish, said Qin Xianbing. He wouldn't have cared if there was only Jiang Chen. Even without Tangenia, they would have no problem dealing with Jiang Chen given their strength. After all, there were 3 or 4 first-grade great sovereigns among them, and all of them were geniuses. Jiang Chen was merely an immortal venerable. Although he could kill Li Wangya, he was afraid that he wouldn't be a match for the geniuses of the immortal court. Elder Qin, we have suffered a great loss in this trip to the demonic immortal island. It couldn't be better that this brat has come here to die. Killing him will be considered as a great achievement for us. A first-grade great sovereign genius named Lang Lang spoke. As a rare genius of the immortal court, their pride had always been their characteristic. They admitted that they weren't a match for Long Shan, but they were extremely confident in dealing with Jiang Chen, who hadn't even reached the half-step sovereign realm. Furthermore, this trip to the demonic immortal island had dealt a great blow to them. Leaving with their tails between their legs had made them incomparably depressed. Now that Jiang Chen had arrived, they had found a way to vent their frustrations. As long as they killed Jiang Chen, they would be able to vent their frustrations. Unfortunately, they had neglected one thing. They knew Jiang Chen very well. Jiang Chen would never take the initiative to die, nor would he do something he wasn't confident about. Want to kill me? Come at me then. Jiang Chen didn't want to waste any more time. Terrifying waves of energy were released from his body like a raging tide. He immediately transformed into his dragon form. His killing intent soared to the sky. Reckless fool. Let me kill him. The first-grade great sovereign who had spoken earlier leaped forward. He waved his hand and struck out a bright brilliance that illuminated the night sky. Those rays of light were like dazzling swords that blotted out the sky and earth, stirring up a wave that rushed madly towards Jiang Chen. Slaughter Dragon Seal. Jiang Chen shouted. He didn't want to waste any more time with his opponent. He struck out the most terrifying Slaughter Dragon Seal. A slaughter dragon roared out. Its cold eyes carried the will to kill and a trace of the great Tao. It lunged towards his opponent crazily. Jiang Chen's eyes were filled with killing intent. Clang clang. The sharp rays of light collided with the slaughter dragon, producing clanging sounds and sparks. However, under the impact of the slaughter dragon, those rays of light were completely destroyed in an instant. Roar! The might of the slaughter dragon didn't diminish. In the blink of an eye, it arrived above the first-grade great sovereign's head and bit down with its bloody mouth. No! The first-grade great sovereign's expression changed dramatically, and he roared loudly. Unfortunately, it was too late. The moment he smelled the breath of death, death had already befallen him. It was an extermination disaster. At this critical moment, the first-grade great sovereign finally realized the gap between him and Jiang Chen. The gap wasn't just a little bit. Hung Long. The dragon of slaughter swallowed the genius in one gulp. Then, a violent force exploded, causing a huge wave to rise in the sea below. As for the genius of the immortal court, he was torn into pieces by the dragon. Only a pool of blood was left floating on the water below, which was quickly washed away by the current. That's right. That's right. That's right. What? Qin Xianbing and the others exclaimed. The scene had scared them to death. Their confidence was gone. Each of them looked at Jiang Chen in horror, as if they were looking at a peerless devil king. Qin Xianbing, don't you want to kill me? Let's do it together. Chapter 1996. Qin Xianbing was dumbfounded. He had never thought that Jiang Chen could improve to such a terrifying extent in such a short period of time. When he first met Jiang Chen was just a small figure who hadn't even reached the immortal emperor realm and had to rely on Xiao Wangqing's protection to stay alive. At that time, Jiang Chen was like an ant in front of him. He could crush Jiang Chen with a single finger. Unfortunately, the situation had changed too quickly. Jiang Chen had made a complete turnaround in a short period of time. Li Wangye was killed by him. Now, even a first-grade great sovereign genius was killed by him. He wouldn't believe it if he didn't see it with his own eyes. He's even stronger than when he participated in the birthday ceremony. He's a super abnormal being. We are no longer a match for him. How did this bastard grow so fast? He must have obtained tremendous benefits from Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Otherwise, he wouldn't have grown so fast. It's too late to say anything now. The faces of the geniuses of Mi Luo Immortal Court darkened. They thought that they were going to return to the Immortal Court soon. Unexpectedly, they encountered a crisis as soon as they left the demonic Immortal Island. Given the enmity between them and Jiang Chen, they were afraid that Jiang Chen wouldn't let them go no matter what. I only regret that I didn't kill this little bastard earlier. Qin Xianbing looked up at the sky without tears. His intestines were green with regret. Back in Genius Prefecture, if they had joined forces with Li Wangye and killed Jiang Chen at all costs, they wouldn't have to face today's calamity. Unfortunately, they had underestimated Jiang Chen. Now, it was too late to say anything. Jiang Chen had completely grown. Elder Qin, what should we do now? One of them asked, his face full of fear. He was only a half-step sovereign. He was very afraid of Jiang Chen. He knew very well that if Jiang Chen attacked him, he would die on the spot. Run. Where there's life, there's hope. Qin Xianbing gritted his teeth, and then all of them tore space open and intended to flee. At this moment, nothing was more important than staying alive. All of them were very clearly aware of the gap between them and Jiang Chen, and even if all of them joined forces, they wouldn't be able to kill Jiang Chen. Voila! Just as they were about to escape, the surrounding waves suddenly moved, forming a water curtain that sealed off the void. It was the strongest barrier, and it had turned into a huge cage. It was impossible for Qin Xianbing and the others to break out of the cage. Qin Xianbing, are you still trying to escape at a time like this? Jiang Chen said coldly. Since he had decided to take action today, he would never leave any chance for his enemies. None of these people would be able to escape. He had controlled the water domain and sealed off the entire battlefield. Ha ha. Jiang Chen, do you really have to be grateful and kill them all? Qin Xianbing shouted. Of course, I won't hold back in killing all of you. Jiang Chen's killing intent soared to the sky. The Heavenly Saint's sword appeared in his hand, and he lunged at Qin Xianbing. Puchi! The void was slashed in half. Qin Xianbing, who had just advanced to the first-grade Great Sovereign Realm, was also slashed in half by Jiang Chen. He only let out one last cry before he was slashed in half by Jiang Chen. Ugh! Jiang Chen's long sword rippled, and the sword chi was like a deadly scythe. 3 more people died under Jiang Chen's sword along with 3 blood-curdling screams. They were all half-step sovereign geniuses. They couldn't even put up a fight against Jiang Chen. He killed 4 people in a row. The whole process was like a whirlwind sweeping away the clouds. It was a one-sided massacre. The enemies couldn't even fight back. Including the first-grade Great Sovereign and Tangenia who was killed by Long San, 6 of the 8 geniuses from Mi Luo Immortal Domain had died, leaving only 2 remaining. Both of them were first-grade Great Sovereigns. It was already something to be proud of to be able to reach the Great Sovereign Realm at such a young age. With such strength, no one would dare to slight them no matter where they went. Moreover, they were all outstanding geniuses, arrogant and prideful. But now, their faces were pale and their bodies were trembling. Jiang Chen held the blood-red combat sword in his hand. The blade of the sword was constantly emitting killing rays. Howl! The combat sword turned into a dragon and lunged at one of them with lightning speed. Jiang Chen didn't give them any chance to breathe. Fight! The 2 of them gritted their teeth. They knew very well that Jiang Chen wouldn't show mercy and let them go. It would be the same even if they knelt down and begged for mercy. They were going to die either way. The only thing they could do was to fight back together. Chila! However, even if the 2 of them joined forces, they were still powerless. In front of Jiang Chen, it made no difference whether they joined forces or not. Jiang Chen chopped off one of their arms. Then, the sword vibrated again. The genius whose arm was chopped off didn't even have time to react before his head was chopped off. Fresh blood spurted out from his severed head like a fountain, adding a cruel color to the night once again. Seeing that his comrade was killed so easily, the remaining one was completely terrified. The shadow of death had completely shrouded him, Or it could be said that Jiang Chen's overbearing strength had destroyed his will, causing him to completely forget to resist as he stood there. Edited by Lifer. Fingerfox Pu Chi. The heavenly saint's sword vibrated again, killing the last genius effortlessly. The void regained its calmness. Jiang Chen's face was full of indifference after killing 7 people in a row. The corpses of the 7 geniuses of Mi Luo immortal domain had been washed away by the torrent. It wouldn't take long for them to be eaten by the creatures in the sea. On the other side, De Huang Dog was also incomparably powerful. The moment Jiang Chen ended his battle, the battle here was also coming to an end. Roar! De Huang Dog's body grew to 12 meters in size, like an ancient barbaric elephant. His indestructible dog head slammed into the head of the last first-grade great sovereign. How could the head of an ordinary person collide with the head of De Huang Dog? The consequences were too miserable, too weak, not challenging at all. De Huang Dog snorted disdainfully. After killing them, he swaggered away. All the geniuses of Radiant's immortal domain died in his hands. This time, there were a total of 24 geniuses from the 3 immortal courts, including the geniuses and elders. In the end, all of them died tragically. None of them returned alive. You're tuning in to the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.